That's exactly what you heard. With $3, you can have full access to my manga and in high quality, like Yamoshi as a girl, and of course, the best, AKUMO Saga. All this and much more with more than 5 gigs of fan manga access. Patreon and comments!
Hey guys, in today's video, we will see a new story called The Legend of Yamoshi. Have you ever wondered who is the legendary Saiyan who was described by Shenron as the first Super Saiyan god in history? You will discover everything here in this incredible video. Is he the Saiyan of Beerus' dream? Is this the return of the legend from the past? The return of the first Saiyan to become a god? But before we start watching this amazing story, you shouldn't forget to hit the like button and comment on the story. Well, if you've already done that, then grab your popcorn bucket and your soda and let's follow this new story. On planet Earth. 2 months after Son Goku and Vegeta's battle against Broly, it was possible to see that the two Saiyans training with Whis on a private island of Bulma, where she had bought so that the two Saiyans could face each other without anyone seeing or hurting anyone in the process. The reason why Goku and Vegeta trained so much during the last 2 months was the lack of strength. Because when they saw Broly, who was a Saiyan who barely trained or had real battles, Broly still faced the two Saiyans and humiliated them, causing Goku and Vegeta to be forced to merge and become a new warrior named Gogeta. And with this fusion, finally Broly was defeated. But this was something else that made the two Saiyans very euphoric because of Broly's strength, making Goku and Vegeta train even more intensely than they already had. After a few hours of training, finally the two Saiyans and the angel Whis had finally finished training and were currently eating some typical foods from various countries as well as other goodies. Whis said, "As always, the food of the land are very delicious, especially this barbecue thing," said the angel while looking at Bulma. Bulma said, "Yes, this barbecue is really delicious. It was made by one of my cooks who came from Brazil," said the woman while looking back where one of the cooks was very happy for her typical food from her country. It pleased the taste of so much Bulma and Whis. Beerus said, "I have to admit, this food is really delicious. Congratulations to the cook," said the god of destruction while eating the food, until he looked at Vegeta who was acting in a strange way. Beerus said, "What happened, Vegeta? Don't tell me you're still remembering the fight with Broly," asked the god of destruction while looking at the Prince of Saiyans. Whis said, "True. You're very strange these days, Mr. Vegeta. What exactly happened for you to be this way?" asked the angel to Vegeta. Vegeta said, "It's not something very important, but after this fight with Broly, the day when Kakarot became a god and fought Beerus-sama," said the Prince of Saiyans while looking at Goku, who was now stopped from eating to pay attention to Vegeta's lines. Goku said, "The day I became a god? But what does that have to do with Broly?" the Saiyan asked his rival, who soon answered him. Vegeta said, "Simple. Broly has an amazing power and transformation, so much so that he really deserves the title of legendary Super Saiyan, and it reminded me of Shenron, who talked about the first Saiyan to become a Super Saiyan god," the prince said of the Saiyans thoughtfully, but soon Beerus ended up changing his re-released expression to a more serious one. Beerus said, "Bulma, do you have the 7 Dragon Balls?" asked the god of destruction to Bulma, who was a little more surprised than replied. Bulma said, "Well, I only have 4 of the 7 with me right now, but why do you want to use them?" the woman asked Beerus. Beerus said, "I want to know something, and Shenron must be useful at least to answer that," the god of destruction spoke to the woman. Beerus said, "Vegeta, get the dragon radar and go after the other Dragon Balls now." The god of destruction spoke in a more authoritative tone, and soon Vegeta took the dragon's radar and went in search of the other Dragon Balls. 1 hour later. After an hour, it was possible to see Vegeta with the last Dragon Balls in his hands, and then Bulma entered and took the other Dragon Balls to summon Shenron and solve Beerus' doubt that he hadn't said anything so far. Bulma said, "Shenron, appear and fulfill my wishes," said the woman, invoking Shenron, making the sky of the place go completely dark, with thunder falling all over the land, and soon a huge golden glow appeared. In it, Shenron appeared. Shenron said, "What do you need this time?" asked the dragon as he looked around at everyone in the place and got a little scared by the presence of Beerus and Whis. Beerus said, "This time, the one who wants something from you is me, Shenron," the god of destruction spoke, approaching Shenron, who was a little surprised and in shock. Shenron spoke, "What does Beerus-sama want? I will do my best to grant your wish," The dragon spoke in the most respectful tone possible to Beerus. Beerus said, "Who was the first Saiyan to become a god, and is he still alive?" Beerus asked Shenron, making everyone surprised by Beerus's question. Shenron said, "His name is Yamoshi. He was a Saiyan with an incredible level of power who was able to do great deeds in his time, and maybe even our era in the present day he would. When planet Vegeta was dominated by the evil Saiyans, he became a Super Saiyan god and defeated them all, and years later, he ended up becoming a god again. Only this time he didn't need to do the ritual to become a god." The dragon spoke, leaving everyone impressed by Yamoshi being so strong in his time. Goku said, "So this Yamoshi was very strong at the time, and he even managed to transform into a Super Saiyan god without needing the ritual like Vegeta," said the Saiyans, looking at his rival Vegeta. Vegeta said, "Really? But now be quiet and pay attention to Yamoshi's story," said the Saiyan Prince while looking at Goku, telling him to be quiet so he can pay more attention to Yamoshi's story. Beerus said, "Really? He seems to be strong. But now answer me, is he still alive?" asked the God of Destruction while looking seriously at Shenron. Shenron said, "Yes, Sir Beerus. Yamoshi still lives." The dragon spoke, leaving everyone shocked by Yamoshi, the one who became a legend for the Saiyans, was still alive. Beerus spoke, "It's like I thought. He's still alive. So where is he?" asked the God of Destruction while looking at Shenron. Shenron spoke, "He's currently sealed away on a faraway planet." The dragon spoke as he looked at everyone in the place. Vegeta said, "How was such a powerful being sealed away? That would be an unlikely thing to happen." Speaking of the Saiyan Prince, still not sure who was responsible for sealing Yamoshi. Shenron said, "Simple. At the time that Yamoshi was sealed, he was in a war where he fought alone and won. But in a last act of desperation, his enemies, they created a portal and sealed him in a parallel world, where he lives until nowadays. And even though he was sealed, Yamoshi didn't get weak. On the contrary, he became even stronger than he was before," said the dragon while looking at everyone who was surprised by Yamoshi, and he is still alive and has gotten stronger even though he was sealed. But at that moment, Beerus started laughing, attracting everyone's attention to the place. Beerus said, "If he's still alive, then that only means one thing. You know what that is, right, Whis?" asked the God of Destruction as he looked at the angel, who had understood Beerus's laughter. Whis said, "It means that the Saiyan you saw in your prophetic dreams was not Lord Goku, but Yamoshi. So the warrior who can defeat you, Lord Beerus, is sealed at that moment," said the angel while looking at Beerus. But soon Shenron spoke and said, "He is sealed, but not for long." The dragon spoke, attracting the attention of everyone in the place. Bulma said, "What do you mean by that, Shenron?" the woman asked while looking at Shenron. Shenron said, "Frieza. He was looking for the knowledge of the Saiyans to come up with a plan to face the Saiyans, and during this search for information, he found the place where Yamoshi had been killed. But that place is actually where Yamoshi is sealed, and as it should, knowing that Frieza will end up doing something, so Yamoshi will come back to this world," spoke the dragon, leaving everyone in shock. Vegeta said, "As always, the fault of a new ally or enemy will be because of that damn Frieza," said Vegeta, angrily remembering Frieza, who always causes problems for them. On a faraway planet. On a planet light years from Earth, it was possible to see Frieza and his soldiers walking through a tunnel full of statues of Saiyans who were the strongest of their ages. Frieza said, "Seeing statues with so many Saiyans like this is already making me shiver with disgust," said Frieza, while he was in his vehicle floating around the place. Frieza's soldier said, "Master Frieza found something that might be of interest to him," said one of the Frieza's soldiers, arriving at the place and kneeling before his emperor. Frieza said, "Okay, show me what it is," said Frieza to his soldier, who then got up and guided his emperor to a hidden room where there were some types of energy pillars that were preventing them from entering. And that energy was being thrown at the center of the place, where in that center there was a spear that was draining all that energy. Frieza's advisor spoke. "What should we do now, Emperor Frieza?" asked Frieza's counselor. Frieza said, "Destroy these crystals. Maybe this sphere is holding a big secret, a secret that can be used to defeat Son Goku, Vegeta, and Broly," ordered Frieza to his soldiers, who soon did what was ordered. After the destruction of the energy pillars, soon the sphere that was in the center started to glow, and from that glow, cracks started to appear around the black sphere, and suddenly an explosion occurred, making everyone go blind for a few seconds. And finally, after a few seconds, it was possible to see a man with a monkey tail being a Saiyan like Goku and Vegeta, but he was much stronger than them. The one who just woke up was Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to become a god, in the Saiyan Temple. Currently, it was possible to see Frieza and his soldiers looking at the center of that place, where there was a black sphere. But now inside, there was a Saiyan who appeared to have great power, something that made Frieza look with a great curiosity at the Saiyan. Frieza thought, "That aura that is coming out of him is very impressive, an aura made of pure power. Who is that Saiyan?" Emperor Frieza wondered as he looked at the Saiyan in front of him. Then they looked better at the Saiyan who just appeared in that place after the explosion. All Frieza's soldiers were on alert, as well as Frieza himself, who was ready to start a battle right there. After a few seconds, the Saiyan finally opens his eyes, and that was enough to make all the Frieza soldiers very scared, and make Frieza himself feel a shiver down his spine because of the assassin aura that was emanating from the Saiyan's body. The mysterious Saiyan said, "Who are you, and where am I?" asked the Saiyan in his cold voice, without a shred of emotion, as he looked at the Frieza soldiers, who mostly couldn't even breathe in the presence of that Saiyan. Frieza's advisor said, "We are members of Lord Frieza's army, and the place where you are is called the Tomb of the Saiyan Emperors, a place where the greatest kings of the Saiyans were buried," said Frieza's advisor, while looking at the Saiyan in her front that stared at her coldly, but she didn't even care about the Saiyan's cold eyes in front of her. Mysterious Saiyan said, "Wow, you are really someone of courage. Looking at me like that and not showing even an ounce of fear or anguish, that is something really impressive," said the Saiyan while looking at Frieza's counselor, who was staring at him now with a small smile on her face. Frieza's advisor said, "I appreciate your praise, sir. For the aura that you emanate from your body, you are a great warrior. And for the tail you possessed, I would say you are a Saiyan, am I right?" The mysterious Saiyan said, "That's right. I am a Saiyan, and my name is Yamoshi," said the Saiyan while looking at Frieza's counselor. The moment Frieza and his advisor heard the Saiyan's name, they were very impressed, because in front of them was the one who had become a legend of the Saiyans, Yamoshi being the first Saiyan to become a god and defeat a legion of evil Saiyans that were threatening the destruction of planet Vegeta at that time. Frieza said, "Yamoshi, the one who was able to become a Super Saiyan god and defeat a legion of evil Saiyans that were threatening to destruction of planet Vegeta," asked Frieza to make sure the one in front of him was the real Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "Wow, did I get that famous? From what I remember back in my day, I wasn't a legend. But from what you've said now, I'm the Yamoshi you're talking about. It's myself," said Yamoshi, surprised to have become so famous since the last time he saw someone. Yamoshi said, "And now I want to know, who are you and why you are in this place?" asked the Saiyan while looking with his cold eyes and without any feeling at Frieza, who for a few seconds felt the fear of death. Frieza thought, "What was that? I felt the fear of death just by looking into the Saiyan's eyes," thought Frieza, clearly annoyed that he felt the fear of death when looking into Yamoshi's eyes. Frieza said, "I am Emperor Frieza, and these are my soldiers. We are looking for a way to defeat one of my arch enemies, and we ended up finding this place. And we saw some energy pillars that threw this energy to a black sphere. And this sphere trains that energy, and for that reason I ordered my soldiers to destroy those pillars. And when that happened, the sphere started to crack, and from it you appeared," spoke Frieza while looking at Yamoshi, who after Frieza's speech put his hand on his chin, showing that he was thinking about something. Yamoshi spoke, "Emperor Frieza, an Arcosian, self-titled an emperor. That's unexpected," said the Saiyan in a sarcastic tone, while staring at Frieza, who was now surprised by the Saiyan's absence. Frieza said, "How do you know I'm an Arcosian? Did you by any chance meet an Arcosian in your day?" asked Frieza while looking at Yamoshi, who started laughing when hearing Frieza's speech. Yamoshi said, "Do I know an Arcosian? But of course I know. After all, I was the one who destroyed your home planet, said Yamoshi with a predatory smile while looking at Frieza, who was startled to hear such words as well as his soldiers. Frieza thought, so he was the one who destroyed planet Xeno millions of years ago. He is the reason why my father and I had to destroy the Saiyans, and because of him, I destroyed planet Vegeta for fear of someone like him being born again. But even so, that damn son Goku was born. Apart from all that, I was one of the last, if not the last Arcosian, who almost died at the hands of that Son Goku worm. The Arcosian thought, very angry at Son Goku, and now at Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, if I remember correctly, you Arcosians thought you were the strongest race in the entire universe, and you always despised us, the Saiyans. But during the war, the Arcosians tried to destroy us, the Saiyans. But I myself destroyed all the elite Arcosians, and finally, I destroyed your home planet. I remember that day very well, said the Saiyan while facing Frieza, who was clearly very angry with Yamoshi's provocation. Frieza said, what the hell? I will kill you myself, and I will recover the title of the strongest race in the universe. Even though you are a legend, I will eliminate you, and then I will kill that damn Son Goku, speaks Frieza, emanating his full rage power. Soon Frieza came down from his transport and started to raise his power. Soon his body started to glow golden, and after a few seconds Frieza had his body completely golden. That being the golden Frieza from the strongest form that Frieza had so far. That moment, Frieza said, fear before the power of the golden Frieza. Now I will show you how we Yakuzians are the strongest, especially stronger than you Saiyans. The stupid worms in the entire universe, spoke Frieza, now in his golden form, while striking a pose with open arms. Yamoshi spoke. A transformation that has divine power. Impressive. Your power, I must say, but it's still very weak, and just to show your weakness, I'll let you land the first blow, said Yamoshi, leaving his guard open for Frieza to attack him. While Yamoshi was still, Frieza concentrated all his power in his fist and advanced towards Yamoshi, hitting him with a very strong blow to the face of the Saiyan, who didn't even move. This surprised everyone at the place. Yamoshi said, is that all the power of an Arcosian who has divine power? Pathetic, said the Saiyan while facing Frieza, who was now very afraid of Yamoshi because he didn't even move or feel his blow. Yamoshi said, now allow me to show you the power of a stupid worm, or at least a fraction of it, said the Saiyan while facing Frieza, who upon hearing that immediately moved away from Yamoshi. But that wasn't enough, because Yamoshi instantly appeared in front of Frieza with a small amount of ki in his fist, and with a mere light punch, he made the Arcosian cross the temple, and in a mere instant, Frieza was already in the atmosphere of the temple planet where they were. Yamoshi said, what do you think of the powers of a stupid worm? It seems your power is a long way from mine, you idiot gecko, said the Saiyan, immediately giving a small slap in the face of Frieza, causing him to be thrown with extreme violence on the ground of that planet. The moment Frieza fell to the ground, it was possible to see a huge crater, and in the center was Frieza's body with serious injuries and passed out, and because of that, his golden Frieza transformation disappeared. Yamoshi said, how boring. I hope I have other strong warriors in this universe. And who is that Son Goku that this gecko was talking about? From the way he said, he must be a Saiyan. I think I'll go after him, said the Saiyan, soon flying out of that place, leaving Frieza in a semi-dead state, and his army of Frieza is there paralyzed with extreme fear of Yamoshi. Frieza unintentionally ended up waking up a living legend, a being whose strength must match that of a god of destruction. Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to become a god, and the strongest legend of Saiyans, had been reborn again, and now he would go in search of one opponent at his height. Currently flying through the vacuum of space, it was possible to see Yamoshi, who after being freed by Frieza's actions, was looking for a planet where he once lived, while he was still walking through that universe. Yamoshi thought, I should go to where planet Vegeta is. Well, I was, since that gecko destroyed it years ago. I think I'd better go to that planet. I've been isolated from them for years, to my master's powers that I gained when I first turned into a god, thought Yamoshi, as he thought what he should do at that moment. Yamoshi thought, Well, I'm going to that planet, and when I'm there, I'm going to take the opportunity to train a little, since it's been a long time since I've really fought anyone, and I don't want to be rusty when I face an opponent my height, so I better train a little, thought the Saiyan, soon flying towards the planet to be able to better control his divine powers. Yamoshi thought, on second thought, that Arcosian spoke of a warrior named Son Goku, and by the way he spoke, he must have been defeated by this warrior before, and not only that, I think he was defeated more than once. It means that this warrior must be strong. Would he be able to fight me for at least 1 minute? Well, after I train myself, I will travel to the universe in search of this warrior, and I will defeat the strongest opponents I find on my way. The Saiyan thought with an excited smile on his face, because there are other people who can use the divine power like Frieza. Yamoshi said, I just hope he's strong enough for me to use at least 20% of my power. Well, that doesn't matter now. I'm really excited to face stronger warriors now that I'm back in this world. The Saiyan spoke excitedly, and soon he started to fly even faster as he was very excited to meet really strong opponents. On planet Earth. Currently on planet Earth, it was possible to see Goku and Vegeta training again, and now both were transformed into Super Saiyan Blue. The two Saiyans were training much more than usual. Neither of them knew very well, but for some reason, they felt obligated to training more than ever. For both Saiyans, it was as if their Saiyan instincts were warning them that they needed to get stronger to face a new opponent. Meanwhile, Bulma was talking to Whis and Beerus was quieter than ever and just ate the food in front of him while listening to Bulma and Whis' conversation. Bulma said, Look, I know that Goku and Vegeta like to train, but I think these last 3 days they've been training too much and are taking their battles very seriously. So much so that I have to send them both into the recovery machine to heal your wounds. And this is already making me worried. And not only me, Chi-Chi also told me that Goku is more restless than ever these last few days. Vegeta's wife spoke as she watched her husband's battle against his childhood friend. Whis said, I've noticed that too. They're taking their disputes very seriously, and it's not very normal. What do you think of that, Mr. Beerus? Asked the angel while looking at Beerus, making Bulma also look at the god of destruction, who soon decided to manifest. Beerus said, It must be because of that guy. The god of destruction spoke in a serious tone, something that made Bulma and Whis look at each other as they blinked their eyes several times quickly, showing that they were both confused. Whis said, Dude, who else are you talking about, Beerus? Asked the angel to his god of destruction. Beerus said, Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to become a god. Those two, after they heard what Shenron said about Yamoshi, they're training with everything they have, and that's because they're Saiyans, said Beerus, still watching the battle between Goku and Vegeta, and he didn't even look at Whis, and for Bulma to reply, she said, Look, I understand that they were excited to learn that there was a Saiyan with such power in ancient times, but he's currently sealed, isn't he? And even if that idiot Frieza finds where he is, I don't think he will be able to break the seal that was used to seal the Yamoshi, will he? Said the woman while looking at Whis, who then put his hand on her chin. Whis said, To be honest, I don't know. Frieza is someone who would do anything to defeat Mr. Goku and Mr. Vegeta. We have to remember that he allied with a Saiyan like Broly just to destroy them. So if Frieza manages to break Yamoshi's seal, only he has two options. One of them is that Yamoshi stays on Frieza's side, and that would be a big problem. And the second would be where Yamoshi didn't even care about Frieza. And with that we would have another Saiyan who doesn't like Frieza. And that way Frieza will have another new enemy, said the angel while looking at Bulma. And then straight ahead where Goku and Vegeta were now all wet from their training as they were both in their base forms. Beerus said, Make no mistake, Whis. Yamoshi not being on Frieza's side doesn't mean he will be on our side. Now I want to know something. Did you find what I asked for? The god of destruction spoke right after looking at Whis' face, something he hasn't done since the beginning of the conversation. Whis said, And you're right. And about what you asked me I already found. The angel spoke soon, invoking his staff and looking at Beerus, who had risen and was now face to face with Whis. Beerus said, Then show me everything you found about Yamoshi. The god of destruction spoke in a much more serious tone, thus attracting the attention of not only Bulma, but also Goku and Vegeta, who were now on Bulma's side. Vegeta said, "Yamoshi information?" said the Saiyan in a surprised and serious tone at the same time. Whis said, "That's right. Mr. Beerus has asked me to go looking for information about Yamoshi. A few days ago, I found some things, very interesting things, that may have to do with the fact that Frieza hates you Saiyans so much," spoke the angel, leaving Goku and Vegeta, surprised that Yamoshi has everything to do with Frieza hating them so much. Goku said, "Does Yamoshi have anything to do with Frieza's hatred for Saiyans?" asked the Saiyan to the angel. Whis said, "Well, apparently at that time, the Yamoshi set foot in this world, there was a great war. A war that Yamoshi fought alone and was the winner. In the middle of this war, Yamoshi ended up destroying several planets, including the home of the Arcosians called planet Zeno. And by coincidence, Frieza is an Arcosian, and that's why he was so scared of you Saiyans, because the legendary Super Saiyan we know as Yamoshi destroyed all of Frieza's race." Whis spoke, revealing the fact that Yamoshi was the one who destroyed Frieza's race home planet. Vegeta said, "So Yamoshi destroyed his home world, and several years later they destroyed the Saiyans' home world. Who would say it's not?" said the Saiyan in a half-ironic tone, while looking at Whis. Whis said, "Apparently at that time, Frieza's race was the strongest, and liked to enslave the weakest, is when they came to know the Saiyans tried to enslave them. But Yamoshi and other elite Saiyan warriors of the time were strong enough to delay the conquest of the planet, and during that time, they were not attacking the evil Saiyans who allied themselves with Frieza. They tried to destroy all the Saiyans and planet Vegeta itself. And it was at this time that Yamoshi became a god for the first time," spoke the angel while looking at everyone in their place, who was surprised by the story of Yamoshi and the history of hatred between the Arcosians and the Saiyans. Vegeta said, "It seems that Arcosians and Saiyans were born to hate each other. Yamoshi made the Arcosians go extinct and Frieza did the same thing to us. The more I find out about the past, but it seems that Frieza was seeking revenge on the Arcosians, who were killed by the hands of Yamoshi and other Saiyans," said Vegeta, while listening to all attentively. Beerus said, "I must agree with Vegeta on this one, but now I want to know something, Whis. You had told me that someone would investigate the place where Yamoshi would possibly be. Did he get anything?" asked the god of destruction while looking at the angel. Whis said, "Yes, he did, and he even sent me pictures." The angel spoke right away, making the tip of his staff glow and transmit some pictures for everyone to see. Soon the images show Frieza's soldiers inside a temple, and then a type of black spear that was being bombarded with energy by 4 pillars that soon by Frieza's orders were destroyed. Seconds after the destruction of the pillars, the black sphere in the center started to crack and suddenly exploded, and at the place of the explosion it was possible to see an older man with a monkey tail, being this the last image they had. Seeing such images, everyone already knew who that being was that had been released from the dark sphere, and everyone looked at Beerus, who ended up raising his power unconsciously. Beerus said, "Looks like Frieza really did it. He just freed Yamoshi." The god of destruction spoke in a clearly angry tone as his power of destruction was released from within his body. On planet Earth. Currently on planet Earth, it was possible to see Goku and his friends looking at the holographic screen that was coming out of Whis' staff that showed the image of Yamoshi, who had been freed from his seal by Frieza's hands. As everyone watched the image of Yamoshi, Beerus, who was in the place, was also looking at the screen. He was clearly annoyed with all that, irritated to the point of releasing his power of destruction, causing the ground around him to start to be destroyed. Then Whis speaks. He says, "Mr. Beerus, calm down please," said the angel while looking at Beerus, who after taking a long heavy sigh stopped, releasing his power of destruction, causing the floor of the place to stop getting destroyed. Beerus said, "Okay, Whis." The god of destruction spoke calmer than before. Goku said, "So this is the Yamoshi guy. He seems to be very powerful," said the Saiyan while looking at the image of the first Saiyan to become a god, the true legend of Saiyans. Whis said, "That's right. That's what Yamoshi looks like, and from what I've seen, he's really powerful, and you can tell that just by his appearance and physical bearing, plus the aura that his gaze conveyed. An aura of a warrior who has seen the death more than once and survived them all," said the angel while looking at the image of Yamoshi, who really emanates an imposing aura. Goku said, "Wow, If even Mr. Whis spoke, then he really is very strong. But is he as strong as me and Vegeta? Asked the Saiyan to his rival, who was beside him while looking at the image of Yamoshi. Vegeta said, I would really like to say that we are the strongest, but by that aura he transmits, he must be stronger than us. Yes, much stronger than us, said the Saiyan, a little indignant by the fact that he admits that Yamoshi and someone stronger than him, but at the time, a little proud to know that he's a Saiyan just like him. Goku said, wow, that Yamoshi must be pretty powerful for even Vegeta to admit he's strong, said the Saiyan while looking at Vegeta. Bulma said, are you sure this Vegeta is my husband? A proud Saiyan who would never admit that anyone is superior to him. Vegeta's wife said in a playful tone while looking at Vegeta, who was getting annoyed that his rival and his wife were making fun of what he had said. Vegeta said, don't get me wrong, I'm very powerful, but I know that this Yamoshi is a true living legend. He was the first of all Saiyans to transform into a Super Saiyan God, and that in itself is a reason for I have respect in him, said the Saiyan while looking at everyone in the place, who were quite surprised by the proud Saiyan's speech. Vegeta said, and he's also a Saiyan just like me and Kakarot, as well as Broly himself. And if I have to admit that someone is stronger than me, only if it's another Saiyan, and for that reason I have to train even harder to overcome him, and become an even bigger legend than him, said the Saiyan, motivated to surpass Yamoshi, and be an even greater legend than the first Saiyan to become a god. Goku said, wow, if you keep talking like that, it will only make me want to become stronger, and be able to fight this Yamoshi even more, and even surpass it in the future, said the Saiyan, very excited and motivated to become stronger, just like Vegeta. Vegeta said, but don't forget Kakarot, the one who will become an even greater legend than Yamoshi will be me, and I will be the most powerful Saiyan in all of history. Whether in the future, past or present, said the Saiyan while looking at Goku, who just gave his classic smile to his rival Vegeta. Goku said, no, the one who will be the strongest of all will be me, and I will be the one who will defeat Yamoshi in the future, said the Saiyan while looking at his rival. Beerus thought, while these two are excited about Yamoshi's awakening, I on the other hand can't think of anything else besides that dream I had, where I had the vision that in the future, Yamoshi will be the Saiyan who will defeat me. Will it be that he comes after me, in search of the title of the God of Destruction of Universe 7? Wondered the God of Destruction as he looked at the image of Yamoshi that was still being transmitted by the staff of Whis. After a few seconds, Whis' staff began to glow several times in a row, showing that he had received a message from the person who had sent the image that showed Yamoshi's appearance. Whis said, looks like I just got a new message, and there's also a video, and it looks like Yamoshi and Frieza won't get along very well, ha ha ha, said the angel while looking at his staff, and then looking at everyone in the place who looked at it quickly. Beerus spoke, what does that mean, Whis? Asked the God of Destruction while looking at the angel in front of him. Whis said, it means that Frieza, with that pride of his, ended up losing control and went for Yamoshi, and that was his biggest mistake, said the angel soon, looking at everyone who was even more curious about what happened with Yamoshi and Frieza. Whis said, good for you to understand better what I'm talking about, and better for you to see for yourself, said the angel as the holographic screen that was transmitted by his staff played the video where Yamoshi had fought Frieza. In the video that Whis received from one of his contacts, spread across Universe 7, it showed the small battle between Yamoshi and Frieza, and the Saiyan didn't even try to take the battle seriously, that to him looked more like a warrior crushing an insignificant insect. In addition to the video itself, it showed that Yamoshi himself revealed that he was responsible for the destruction of the home planet of Frieza's race, something that made Vegeta smile at the thought of several beings like Frieza being erased by the hands of a Saiyan. Vegeta thought, it's a good thing Yamoshi destroyed all those worms along with this planet, because I wouldn't want there to be other beings like Frieza roaming all over Universe 7. Vegeta thought, having shivers just thinking what would happen if Yamoshi had it not destroyed the Arcosians' home planet. There would have been many other beings like Frieza scattered across the universe. Soon the video shows Frieza in his golden form attacking Yamoshi with all his strength, but Yamoshi didn't even feel Frieza's attack, something that made Goku and Vegeta very surprised, as even the two would feel the pain that time. But Yamoshi didn't even care about the blow from Frieza. Goku said, He received that attack from Frieza like it was nothing, and he didn't even feel the blow. He really is very strong," said the Saiyan very excitedly while looking at the holographic screen in front of him. Vegeta said, "Impressive, Yamoshi not even being transformed. Frieza's blow was no big deal for Yamoshi," the Saiyan Prince said while looking at the holographic screen in front of him. Going back to the video, it was possible to see that now it was Yamoshi's turn to attack, and with just 2 blows he managed to defeat Frieza, leaving him in a semi-dead state, and soon he started flying out of the place. And soon after the video ended, Beerus said, "Yamoshi is strong enough to withstand Frieza's strength, and not even try to dodge, but completely opening his own guard to receive Frieza's attack, and he didn't even feel that blow," said the God of Destruction while thinking at the level of power that Saiyans possessed. Whis said, "That's right, Sir Beerus, and from what he ended up sending me a new message saying that Frieza is currently in a recovery chamber, almost dead, and from what I was sent, he is between life and death," said the angel while looking to his staff, which soon glowed again, and at that moment Whis ended up seeing the message and was shocked by the message. Bulma said, "What happened, Whis? You look like you got scared when you looked at his staff," Vegeta's wife said while looking at the angel. Whis said, "And because I ended up getting another message, and it was that Yamoshi is after the Saiyans that survived, and he's after one in particular called Son Goku." The angel spoke, causing everyone to be shocked, and everyone yelled, "What?" They all shouted at the same time as they heard what Whis said. Currently on planet Earth, it was possible to see Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, Beerus, and Whis, who were very shocked by the fact that Yamoshi wanted to find the Saiyans who are still alive, and one in particular that would be Son Goku. Something everyone was wondering was what Goku did this time to make Yamoshi want to find him. Beerus said, "What did you do this time, Goku? Why does Yamoshi want to meet you?" The God of Destruction asked the Saiyan, who was still in shock to learn that Yamoshi wanted to find him. Goku said, "This time I didn't do anything, and I don't know why Yamoshi would want to meet me," said the Saiyan while looking at Beerus. Whis said, "Maybe Yamoshi wants to meet you because of Frieza," said the angel, attracting the attention of everyone in the place. Vegeta said, "I don't understand. I know Frieza doesn't like Kakarot, but I don't think he would say anything about Kakarot to Yamoshi," said the Saiyan Prince while looking at Whis. Whis said, "I agree with you, Mr. Vegeta, but I think Frieza, in an act of fury, ended up speaking the name of Mr. Goku, and Yamoshi for having heard Goku's name, now he wants to find out who that person would be. And Frieza must have said that Goku is a Saiyan, so Yamoshi must want to find the Saiyan named Son Goku, who is of his race," the angel explained while looking at the Prince of Saiyan. Bulma said, "That makes sense. Frieza, whenever he's mad at Goku or Vegeta, he just says damn Saiyans. And in that speech, Yamoshi must have understood that Goku is a Saiyan who has already faced Frieza, and for that reason he wants to find Goku," said the woman while looking at everyone in the place. Goku said, "But what does he want with me and the Saiyans that still exist?" asked Goku while looking at his friends who also had the same question on their minds. Vegeta said, "Maybe it's because he's a Saiyan and wants to find other Saiyans, that's all," said the Prince of Saiyans while looking at everyone, who was a little confused by that. Goku said, "I still don't understand why he wants to find the other Saiyans who are still alive. Does he want to reunite our race?" said the Saiyan, soon turning and facing Vegeta, who was beside him. Vegeta said, "You are more idiotic than I imagined, Kakarot," said the Saiyan in a tone a little annoyed by the lack of intelligence of his training partner and rival. Goku said, "Why are you calling me an idiot now?" asked the Saiyan without understanding why Vegeta had called him an idiot at that moment. Vegeta said, "We are Saiyans. We are a warrior race. And what do you think a legend wants with us after many years that he was sealed? What do you think he will want to do when he finds us, the last Saiyans?" said the Saiyan to Goku. Goku said, "I don't know. I don't understand." The Saiyan replied doubtfully, something that made Vegeta slap himself in the face. Bulma said, "Look, if he's a very powerful Saiyan and wants to find the other Saiyans, that can only mean that he, like you two, live wanting a real battle. Yamoshi just wants to face a Saiyan warrior who has the power of a deity, since you two have godlike powers, and he should probably think about that since you two faced Frieza and beat him," said Bulma while looking at everyone, especially her husband, who was glad that someone finally understood what he wanted to say. Vegeta said, "I thank you every day for having a smart wife, and not a dumb and stupid wife like Kakarot," said Vegeta while looking at his wife, who gave him a smile and then looked at Goku, who was annoyed at being called an idiot again by Vegeta. Goku said, "Hey, stop calling me an idiot all the time, and it would be a lot easier if you spoke at once and not get all this suspense," said the Saiyan, a little annoyed with his rival. Beerus said, "In short, Yamoshi wants to find the last Saiyans to face them. This is the simplest answer. After all, as Bulma said, he's a Saiyan, and like every Saiyan, always wants a good fight," said the God of Destruction while looking at the two Saiyans who were arguing. Whis said, "So if he's going to come after Mr. Goku and Mr. Vegeta, that means you two should train harder than ever. After all, he defeated Frieza with just 2 moves, and from what I saw, he didn't even use half of his strength in those 2 blows," said the angel while looking at Goku and Vegeta, who had already stopped fighting like children and were paying attention to what Whis was talking about. Goku said, "Wait, if Yamoshi is going to come after all the Saiyans, that means he's going to go after Broly too, right? Will Broly be defeated like Frieza?" asked the Saiyan while looking at everyone, especially Vegeta. Vegeta said, "If Yamoshi finds Broly, it will be a battle that will destroy the planet they are on, because Broly also faced Frieza, and Broly easily defeated Frieza," said the Prince of Saiyans to Goku. Beerus thought, "If Yamoshi finds Broly, it will be an incredible battle. After all, they both have gigantic power, and both are the ones who inspired the creation of 2 legends of the Saiyan race, and now both are active and alive as they will probably face each other," thought the God of Destruction while thinking about Broly's battle against Yamoshi, something Whis was also thinking about. Whis thought, "The legendary Super Saiyan versus the Super Saiyan God. A battle between 2 legendary beings that will make the entire universe tremble with their confrontation," Whis thought as he looked at his staff, which was scanning Universe 7, in search of finding Broly and Yamoshi's current whereabouts. Now on planet Vampa, the planet of Broly. Currently on planet Vampa, or Broly's planet, it was possible to see Broly and his companion inside the house that Goku had brought them to live, and Broly was lying in bed sleeping, and Lemo and Chirai were making plans on which planet would be next. They would go. Chirai spoke. "What is it, Lemo? What is the problem with you today? You're quieter than usual, and haven't even complained about anything all day," asked Chirai while looking at his friend. Lemo said, "It's not a big deal. It's just that earlier today, I took a look at my scouter and got a universal message that was sent to all soldiers in Mr. Frieza's army," Lemo said while looking at the white-haired woman and light green skin. Chirai spoke. "But why did you do that? You know we can't use the scouters, so we don't get tracked, Lemo," said the woman in a more altered tone of voice. After all, she and Lemo, besides Broly, were being hunted by Frieza's army. Lemo said, "I know that, Chirai, but for some reason I thought it would be an important thing. That's why I took the scouter and saw the message." Orange-skinned, older-looking Lemo spoke. Chirai said, "Well, you've already turned on the scouter, and you've seen the message, so there's no turning back." "But then, what was the message you heard?" the woman asked as she looked at her friend. Lemo said, "Apparently Frieza together with his soldiers found a type of temple or tomb of the ancient Saiyans, and inside it they found a type of black spear that was being held by some energy pillars. Seeing this, Frieza must have thought that it was a weapon or information to be used against the Saiyans and ordered them to destroy it. Only that it was not a weapon, but a Saiyan that was sealed inside the black sphere," Lemo said while looking at her friend, who was very surprised by such information and knowing that there is another Saiyan alive besides Vegeta, Goku, and Broly. Chirai said, "But who is this Saiyan?" the woman asked, who was quite curious to know who the Saiyan guy would be. Lemo said, "Apparently he is a Saiyan named Yamoshi. This Yamoshi being the first Saiyan to become a god and a legend among Saiyans." Chirai said, "So besides Broly, this Yamoshi is also a legend among the Saiyans," said the woman, very euphoric. But soon everyone's attention is turned to Broly, who had just woken up and is already leaving his house with a very serious face, something that made Chirai and Lemo look at each other and then follow the Saiyans out of their house. As soon as everyone went out of the house and the cave, Broly looked at the sky, and then Lemo and Chirai looked too, and soon the 3 came across a man flying while looking at everyone, especially Broly being that Yamoshi who was on the planet to face the Broly. Yamoshi thought, I found the legendary Saiyan of this generation. I hope he's as strong as the one I knew in my time. The Saiyan thought as he looked at Broly, who had a serious expression on his face. On planet Earth. Currently on planet Earth, it was possible to see Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, Chi-Lai, Whis, and Beerus. They were all gathered together as they looked at the holographic screen that showed the battle between Yamoshi and Broly, with Broly now in his new Super Saiyan 2 transformation and Yamoshi having now transformed into a Super Saiyan, something that made everyone shocked. Beerus said, "What the fuck? It looks like Yamoshi can really transform into a Super Saiyan," said the God of Destruction, annoyed by the fact that Yamoshi can increase his strength even more now that he's turned into a Super Saiyan. Whis said, "Well, now there's no doubt. Yamoshi can also transform into a Super Saiyan. But that's not the most surprising thing about him," said the angel, attracting the attention of some people like Bulma and Chi-Lai. Chi-Lai said, "How so? What do you mean by that?" asked the woman, confused and afraid Broly would die. Beerus said, "When he turned into a Super Saiyan, he ended up releasing so much energy that in other universes it could be felt," said the God of Destruction, annoyed to know that Yamoshi had so much power to the point that other universes felt it. Goku said, "This is worrying. Very worrying. This guy is a freak. He's a monster," said the Saiyan while feeling the absurd energy that Yamoshi was still releasing. Vegeta said, "Yes, he is a monster. The energy he is releasing is as much as Kakarot was when he used the power of Ultra Instinct during the Power Tournament, and even with that power, the pressure that Goku released wasn't that great," said the Prince of Saiyans while feeling the raw power of Yamoshi that was arriving on planet Earth. Bulma said, "So not even Goku using the power that only angels can use easily, would he have the strength to face Yamoshi transformed into a Super Saiyan?" asked the incredulous woman as she looked at Goku and Vegeta. Whis said, "That's right. Maybe Mr. Goku using the power of Ultra Instinct, he could face Yamoshi. But if you remember well, Shenron said that Yamoshi was not only the first Saiyan, but he can also transform into a god without having to do a ritual. In short, Yamoshi can still transform into a Super Saiyan god that is many times stronger than the normal Super Saiyan," said the angel while looking at Goku and Vegeta. Beerus said, "He's strong, and he's not even at 100% yet. Imagine when he's using his full power for real," said the God of Destruction, annoyed with all that, mainly because Beerus knows that Yamoshi is the true Saiyan predestined to defeat him or even kill him. Beerus thought, "Maybe I'll be able to face him if I use my Hakaishin power to the fullest, and with my transformation, which I've never needed to use in my thousands of years of life," thought the God of Destruction while thinking whether or not he could defeat Yamoshi using all his power. Whis said, "Really? Yamoshi is a being of extreme power, and that worries me, mainly because I know he is strong enough to make other universes feel his energy, and that worries me a lot," said the angel while looking at the holographic screen. Bulma said, "What exactly is worrying you, Whis?" asked the woman as she looked at the angel. Whis said, "If he's strong enough to make other universes feel his power, he must be strong enough to break the boundary between universes. And if that happens, he can travel between universes. And that in itself is something to worry about," said the angel while looking at everyone in the place. Vegeta said, "So if that happens, Yamoshi will go to other universes, and I'm sure he will go after the Saiyans of Universe 6, said the Saiyan while thinking about his disciple, who lived in the 6th universe. Goku said, "Looks like the fight is about to start again," said the Saiyan, making everyone look at the holographic screen. Beerus said, "Goku, be prepared to save Broly because we can't afford to lose someone as strong as him, because we will need all the help possible to defeat Yamoshi in the future, so be ready to act," said the God of Destruction while looking at Goku. Goku said, "Yes, sir," said the Saiyan already prepared to use his teleportation to save Broly from his possible death. Now with Yamoshi and Broly. Currently, it was possible to see Broly and Yamoshi facing each other in the middle of the vacuum of space, and both Saiyans were using their new transformations, something that made them both very powerful, especially Yamoshi, who had a yellow and golden aura surrounding him, and Broly had his green aura, dark emerald surrounding her body, while some small rays danced through her body. Yamoshi said, "The power is intriguing, so now I've discovered that your power is an evolution of this power I'm using. So it seems that there's a level above that I can reach. It seems that after defeating you, I'll master this transformation, and then I will learn this other level," But first we have to end this fight," Yamoshi said while smiling, seeing his new form and especially knowing that he has a power above that, and that was something that made him very happy. Broly said, "You won't learn this new transformation, because I will defeat you first," said the legendary Saiyan before advancing towards Yamoshi, who did the same thing as him. Soon both Saiyans started a high-speed battle. Everyone who was seeing that could only see two energy trails, being one golden and the other dark emerald green, and the two Saiyans were fighting with such intensity that it created trails of destruction on planets that were miles away from them. Soon Broly and Yamoshi separated from their melee combat, and when they separated, both began to attack their long-range ki attacks, and Broly created two green spears, one in each hand, and fired at Yamoshi. And Yamoshi put one of his hands a little above his abdomen and the other a little below his abdomen, and between them, a golden spear mixed with white was created and launched against Broly's attack. At the moment, both attacks collided, creating such a destruction that it was able to destroy 5 planets at once, erasing them from existence, with the planet Vampa being one of those planets. After the destruction of the 5 planets that were close to Yamoshi and Broly, both Saiyans without any delay returned to face each other, and Yamoshi, who had already learned a little about his new transformation and strength, was able to dodge all of Broly's attacks and give a counterattack, and then Yamoshi kicked in the center of Broly's abdomen, and soon after exploding a ki attack in the face of the legendary Saiyan, who had to distance himself to recover from Yamoshi's attack. Yamoshi said, "You're really strong, so I hope you'll be able to withstand my attack," said the Saiyan, gathering a large amount of energy above his head, creating a type of Genki Dama, only as dark as a black hole. Yamoshi said, "Don't die yet, I still want to fight," said the Saiyan before throwing his giant attack against Broly, that seeing that the only thing he could do was try to fight that attack with his own attack. Broly, seeing that the attack is incoming and knowing that he couldn't dodge or defend himself, had to use a ki attack to face that attack from Yamoshi. So Broly put his 2 hands together in front of his chest, creating a ki attack and launching it against Yamoshi's attack. So both of the ki attacks had collided, but clearly Yamoshi's attack was millions of times superior to Broly's, and so he was easily beaten. And Broly, seeing this, increased his power to a maximum to try to beat Yamoshi's attack. Yamoshi said, "Unfortunately, you will no longer be able to win my attack. A real shame, you were an exemplary warrior, but now you will be killed. So die with your pride, because the first Saiyan to become a god was the one who killed you," said the Saiyan, arrogant, while looking at Broly. Yamoshi already wanting to end it once and for all, as he increases the pressure of his attack, making him stronger and heavier than before. So with that, Yamoshi already saw that Broly was going to be eliminated at once. But one thing that surprised him was to feel another energy from another warrior beside Broly. And soon Yamoshi's attack was being overwhelmed by the union of Broly's and another mysterious warrior's attacks. Yamoshi thought, "What more power is this? Who is this other warrior?" Yamoshi asked himself before getting out of the way of his attack, because a blue and green energy ray ended up destroying his attack. Soon Yamoshi looked where the attack was coming from and saw Broly with a blue-haired warrior standing next to him, who was wearing a small jacket that showed his abdomen and white pants. Yamoshi spoke. "Who are you?" asked the Saiyan while looking at the new warrior just arriving at the battle. Gogeta spoke. "I am the cavalry. I am Gogeta, the strongest fusion, and I will be the one to finish you off," announced the newly arrived warrior, being the fusion of Goku and Vegeta using the Metamoru dance. A few minutes ago on planet Earth. A few minutes earlier on planet Earth, it was possible to see Goku and the rest of his friends looking at the holographic screen where it showed the battle of Broly transformed into Super Saiyan 2, and Yamoshi, who was now with his transformation into a normal Super Saiyan. Vegeta said, "So much power. These two are true monsters," said the Prince of Saiyans while looking at the holographic screen. Beerus said, "The power of these two is really impressive. It seems that Broly and Yamoshi have no limits on how strong they are." The God of Destruction spoke as he looked at the battle between Broly and Yamoshi that destroyed everything around them. Chilai said, "This Yamoshi guy is as strong as Broly, but I'm sure Broly will still be able to beat him," said the confident woman that her friend would be able to win the battle between the two legendary Saiyans. Goku said, "I also think Broly is a very powerful opponent, and he is still evolving every minute in this battle against Yamoshi. The more time passes, the stronger Broly will get, said the Saiyan, confident that his Saiyan friend would be able to beat his opponent. Bulma said, I'd like to be as optimistic as the both of you, but remember that Broly will get stronger as the battle progresses. But the problem is that Yamoshi will also get stronger the longer the battle lasts, said the blue-haired woman while looking at Chilai, and Goku soon realized that Bulma was right. Whis said, also, Yamoshi is currently only using normal Super Saiyan power, but he still possesses the ability to transform into a Super Saiyan God. In short, he's still just playing with Broly, and when he starts to really take it seriously, that combat, he will transform into his divine form, and when that happens, Broly will fall, said the angel while looking at everyone in the place. They were very worried. After all, everyone knew that Whis was right about that fight. Beerus said, unfortunately, Whis is right. Whether or not Yamoshi is just playing with Broly, and this is worrying. After all, if he can have fun with someone in Broly's level, then I don't even want to see what will happen if Yamoshi goes to other universes. I'm sure he will cause massive destruction, said the God of Destruction, releasing some of his energy of destruction because of the anger he felt to know that Yamoshi was so strong that he only made Beerus more afraid. After all, Yamoshi was the one who would defeat him and probably kill him in the not-too-distant future. After the God of Destruction's speech, soon everyone started looking again at the holographic screen that now showed Broly and Yamoshi creating two key attacks and firing at each other, and the shock of the two attacks was so great that it destroyed 5 planets at once. For the time being, the planet Vampa one of them. Chilai thought, planet Vampa was destroyed. Even though it was a very difficult place to live, it was still a place where Broly and Lemma had many happy memories. And not only that, Broly's friend just must have died in the explosion, thought Chilai as she saw some fragments of the planet Vampa, including a small piece of the house where Broly, Lemma, and Chilai was floating in the vacuum of space. Goku said, we have to go help Broly. If we don't go now, Broly could end up dying, said the Saiyan, while looking at the holographic screen that showed Yamoshi giving several blows to Broly, and Broly was not able to defend himself or dodge the attacks. So the Saiyan ended up receiving several blows from Yamoshi, leaving him very injured in the process. Vegeta said, and how would we help him? Not even the two of us together are at our 100%. We wouldn't have a chance to defeat Broly currently at this level. Imagine Yamoshi who's beating Broly easily, said the Saiyan Prince while looking at his rival. Chilai said, not you two, but maybe that guy who defeated Broly when he came to this planet. If he can help Broly, maybe they'll both be able to defeat this other Saiyan you're calling Yamoshi, said the woman while looking at everyone in the place, while Goku and Vegeta face each other. Beerus said, that's an incredibly stupid plan. If he's going to help, maybe they'll be able to hurt Yamoshi. But defeating him is a completely different thing. The God of Destruction spoke while looking at Chilai. Whis said, but that's the only option to save Broly from being killed by Yamoshi. So we don't have any other option, Mr. Beerus, said the angel while facing his God of Destruction. Beerus said, it's still too risky, so the answer is still no. Neither Goku nor Vegeta will merge, and they won't face Yamoshi, said the God of Destruction looking at the direction that Goku and Vegeta were, but neither of them was in that place anymore. Soon everyone started looking around to find Goku and Vegeta. Before long, everyone looked up from the island house they were on and saw Goku and Vegeta ready to do the fusion dance. Vegeta thought, this will be the last time I do something as embarrassing as this, but this is necessary in order to defeat Yamoshi, thought the Saiyan Prince, as he thought of the shame he will experience again by doing the dance he deems ridiculous. Goku thought, with Gogeta's power, we'll be able to beat Yamoshi and save Broly. Even though I don't think we'll be able to kill him, at least we will leave him well wounded, thought the Saiyan while looking at Vegeta. Soon both Saiyans look at each other and wave the start the Metamor dance. Goku and Vegeta say fusion. Both Saiyans spoke while doing the dance, and after completing the dance in a perfect way, it was possible to see Goku becoming a red energy and Vegeta becoming a blue energy uniting. Beerus said, because Saiyans are always hard-headed, said the God of Destruction annoyed, as he saw both Goku and Vegeta's energy merging, and soon an energy explosion happened, and from it, a new warrior appeared. This being the fusion of Goku and Vegeta, titled Gogeta. Gogeta spoke. "It's time to defeat another legend of my race. My first victim was the first legendary Saiyan Broly, and now it will be the first Saiyan who became a god. My list of legends that were defeated by my hands only increases. Haha." He spoke the fusion of Goku and Vegeta in a proud and slightly arrogant way while thinking about defeating Yamoshi. Bulma said, "Gogeta, you have to go after Broly now, otherwise he will be killed by Yamoshi's attack, and take advantage of it," said the woman before throwing 2 god seeds to Gogeta, who quickly took the god seeds. Gogeta said, "Don't worry, Broly won't die while I'm here." The fusion spoke while looking at Bulma and then at the holographic screen that showed a huge energy attack being thrown at Broly, who didn't have the strength to defeat Yamoshi's attack. Chilai said, "You have to go fast, and please save Broly," screamed the desperate woman as she looked at the attack that almost took Broly away. Goku said, "Okay, now I have to go save a fellow Saiyan and defeat the other idiot Saiyan who should have remained sealed inside that black sphere." He spoke the fusion before placing 2 fingers on his forehead and disappearing from the spot. Bulma said, "Whis, do you think Gogeta will be strong enough to defeat Yamoshi?" asked the woman, worried as she had already witnessed the strength of Gogeta and Yamoshi, and she didn't have high hopes about Gogeta's victory from what she saw of Yamoshi's power. Whis said, "If he was alone, I'd say he'd be defeated pretty quick and wouldn't have any chances. But he's with Broly, and Broly is now stronger than before, so I'd say he's strong enough to hurt and run away from that place," said the angel while looking at Bulma. Beerus said, "Yeah, if they're smart enough, they'll get out of there the first chance they get. But judging by Saiyan instinct, neither of those 2 will want to run away from the battle, and that's why I didn't want Gogeta to go in this first place. After all, if he dies, Goku and Vegeta die automatically," said the god of destruction, annoyed that Goku and Vegeta had risked so much when facing Yamoshi. Bulma said, "The only thing we can do now is wait and hope that those 2 manage to defeat Yamoshi, or at least escape that place," said Bulma next to Chilai, who hoped that Gogeta and Broly were strong enough to save themselves and leave the place immediately. In outer space. Currently in outer space, it was possible to see Broly using a ki attack to confront the ki attack that Yamoshi threw at him, but something was going wrong as Broly's attack was losing to Yamoshi's attack. Broly thought, "Damn, my attack is being easily defeated by this guy's attack. If I can't stand it here, I'll end up dying. But even if I hold on tight, I'll die because I'm almost out of energy," the legendary Saiyan thought as he tried to defeat Yamoshi's attack, who only looked at Broly's despair. Yamoshi said, "Unfortunately, you won't be able to win my attack. A real shame because you were an exemplary warrior, but now you will be killed. So accept your death with pride because the first Saiyan to become a god will be the one who will kill you," said Saiyan angrily while looking at Broly. Soon Yamoshi made his attack stronger, forcing Broly to his limit, until suddenly someone appears next to him, a person Broly knew very well. After all, this person had already defeated him once. Broly said, "It's you, Gogeta. You took your time," said the Saiyan while using his last strength. Gogeta said, "Sorry, I had to do something before, but now I'm here to help you defeat this guy. So let's get on with it," said Gogeta, transforming into Super Saiyan Blue and making his ki attack that ended up combining with Broly's, and in this way, the blow of the 2 Saiyans combined was able to defeat Yamoshi's attack, going through him and almost hitting Yamoshi's face. Yamoshi spoke. "Who are you?" asked the Saiyan while looking at Gogeta, who was beside Broly, who was delivering a seed of the gods that the Saiyan ate soon after recovering all his energies, and now he was ready to face Yamoshi again. Gogeta said, "I am Gogeta, the strongest fusion of Goku and Vegeta, and I will be the one who will defeat you and make you rest for eternity." He said the fusion while looking arrogantly and proudly at Yamoshi. Yamoshi thought, "A fusion between Goku and Vegeta? So that means that the Saiyan I was after is part of this fusion, and the other part of the fusion has the name Vegeta, so he must be a Saiyan of the royal family," Yamoshi thought as he looked at Gogeta and then looked at Broly. Yamoshi thought, Broly is 100% recovered again, but how did that happen so fast? It must be because of those green seeds that Gogeta gave Broly to eat, thought the Saiyan, seeing Broly completely recovered. Gogeta said, "So it looks like today will be the last day of life in this world, Yamoshi. So I hope you enjoyed staying in this world during this short time, because your time will end now," said the fusion of Gogeta while looking at Yamoshi, who was laughing. Yamoshi said, "Let's see if you two can do it. Gogeta and Broly, come have fun, ha ha ha." After all the conversation, Yamoshi started to raise his power, creating a golden energy throughout his body, and seeing that Gogeta and Broly did the same thing with a blue aura surrounding Gogeta's body, and Broly's body an emerald green aura. Darkness surrounded him, plus small rays around his body. Soon the three Saiyans disappeared, and in a few seconds, they reappeared, and Broly, next to Gogeta, reappeared punching Yamoshi together, who managed to defend himself by making an X with only his arms. Recovering quickly, Yamoshi advances against the two Saiyans and Gogeta as a target. Yamoshi got close to Gogeta and kicked him, but Gogeta managed to hold his legs, and taking advantage of Broly, punching Yamoshi in the face, causing him to fly away. In a few moments, Yamoshi recovered, but after that, he could only see a flurry of blue and green ki spheres. Being this, several attacks from Broly and Gogeta together. Yamoshi, seeing that he couldn't keep playing with those two, he removes his shirt and throws it away, something that makes Gogeta and Broly get confused. But then again, Yamoshi appears in front of Broly and kicks the legendary Saiyan in the face. And before Gogeta manages to help Broly, Yamoshi creates a ki sphere in his hand and explodes in Gogeta's face. Gogeta thought, what, he was using weights until now? How strong is this guy really? Thought about the merger. But quickly Gogeta puts his thoughts aside and advances towards Yamoshi, who does the same thing. Soon the two Saiyans meet and collide their fists, generating a huge shockwave. Yamoshi, now without his weights, was faster than before. That way he could defend himself and dodge Gogeta's attacks, and for a mere slip, Gogeta ended up taking a hook in his abdomen, causing the blue-haired Saiyan to spit a small amount of saliva. But Yamoshi didn't stop attacking Gogeta, but quickly Yamoshi had to punch in the opposite direction of Gogeta, because there was Broly, who had arrived and tried to punch Yamoshi, who was faster than Broly, and managed to defend himself from Broly's blow, using his own blow. Seeing this, Gogeta, who had recovered from kicking Yamoshi, threw him away. Broly said, "Even though I've been fighting him for so long, he still looks like he's having fun with us. He doesn't even look tired after so long." He spoke the Saiyan while looking at Yamoshi, who was still very well and didn't even seem tired. Gogeta said, "I had thought I had left him injured, but he's intact. It looks like he can regenerate," said the blue-haired Saiyan while looking at Yamoshi, who didn't seem to have any injuries. Yamoshi said, "Look, if you want to kill me, you'll have to hurt me faster than I can regenerate myself. And yes, I have that power. That Bibidi guy made my regeneration speed and energy recover become faster than a normal Saiyan," said the Saiyan, revealing that he had high regeneration because of Bibidi. Gogeta thought, "Bibidi? This is Babidi's father and creator, and he was also the one who created Majin Buu thousands of years ago," he thought while looking at Yamoshi. Gogeta thought, "It's time to stop holding back. I have time to maintain this fusion, so it's now or never," said Gogeta while looking at Yamoshi and then at Broly. Gogeta said, "Broly, let's end this battle as soon as possible, so don't hold back and use your 100% now." He spoke the fusion of Gogeta to Broly, who upon hearing just nodded his head. So soon Gogeta starts to raise his power faster, making a red aura surround his body, being that the power of Kaioken X10. Broly, seeing this, decided to also use Kaioken. After all, Gogeta had taught him the power a little while ago. So Broly raises his power, making a red aura surround his body, and mix with his dark emerald green aura. Now I try Gogeta and Broly were using Kaioken 10X. In a quick movement, Broly and Gogeta disappeared. Seeing that, Yamoshi entered a defense posture, but it was too late because Gogeta had already appeared in front of him, punched the Saiyan's abdomen, then ended up spitting saliva. But Gogeta didn't stop just with a blow, because in a quick moment, Gogeta ends up giving 3 punches to Yamoshi and finishes his kicks, Yamoshi being thrown in the direction of a nearby planet. Yamoshi soon recovered and would advance towards Gogeta, but Broly appeared in front of him, holds his face, and starts flying at high speed towards the planet they were close to, And soon Broly uses Yamoshi's body to cross a chain of mountains on that planet and finish off Broly's strikes from top to bottom, using his two fists together and close the blow to Yamoshi's head, causing him to fall to the floor of the planet, creating a crater. Yamoshi at the time, he would recover. He looks up. He can only see a shower of ki attacks that Broly had used before, but now he had seen blue and green ki orbs, both mixed with a red aura. And now Yamoshi was on the ground. He was injured. He couldn't defend himself and ended up receiving a lot of attacks, leaving him well injured. Gogeta and Broly, knowing how dangerous Yamoshi was, wasted no time and went ahead to finish him once and for all. After all, he was very dangerous. But Yamoshi wasn't going to lose with that, and when the Saiyans got close to him, Yamoshi created a very similar energy blast as he removed the wristband that was on his arm that sealed his power, causing Gogeta and Broly to be hit by the attack beyond. From the ground itself, it was incinerated to ash. Yamoshi said, "You two are really amazing, so maybe I have to use that even though I don't want to appeal so much against both of you," he said the Saiyan while looking at Gogeta and Broly. Gogeta and Broly, seeing that it wouldn't be a good thing, tried to advance towards Yamoshi, who just closed his eyes, and when both Saiyans got close to Yamoshi, they both tried to punch Yamoshi, but he just held the fist of both Saiyans, who stayed quite surprised by that. And soon they could see Yamoshi's blonde hair turning red, with an aura of fire around his body, something that made Gogeta scared. After all, Yamoshi had just transformed into his Super Saiyan God form. Yamoshi said, "Let's fight for real now, kids," said the Saiyan as he opened his eyes, revealing they were red because of his divine transformation. On planet Earth, moments before Yamoshi showed his divine transformation. Currently on planet Earth, it was possible to see Beerus, Whis, Bulma, and Chilai looking at the holographic screen that was showing Gogeta next to Broly, who would face Yamoshi, who was using his normal Super Saiyan transformation. Beerus said, now that Gogeta is with Broly and they are both at their 100%, they can at least leave Yamoshi very injured and worn out, said the God of Destruction while looking at the holographic screen that showed Gogeta and Broly side by side while both faced Yamoshi. Bulma said, "Did I just find something strange?" said the woman, attracting the attention of everyone in the place, and soon Chilai spoke, saying, "What do you think is strange, Miss Bulma?" asked the green-skinned woman while looking at Bulma. Bulma said, "The strange thing is that during Broly's fight against Yamoshi, Broly managed to leave Yamoshi injured, but if we look better, we'll be able to see that he doesn't seem to have any injuries or even fatigue after all this fight between them," said the woman while looking at the holographic screen that showed Yamoshi apparently without any injuries, something that made everyone pay more attention to Yamoshi. Whis spoke, "So I guess my suspicions were right," said the angel while looking at the image of Yamoshi that was shown on the holographic screen. Beerus spoke, "What are you talking about, Whis? What were you suspecting?" asked the God of Destruction to his angel, who soon began to speak. Whis said, "Like Bulma, I also came to realize that even though Yamoshi was injured or using a lot of his energy, he wasn't getting tired, and for a few minutes the injuries he had received disappeared. So I tried to analyze Yamoshi better, and so I sent a small amount of my energy to Gogeta, and now that he is there, I can see that Yamoshi's body has magic built into it, and that magic must be responsible for this large amount of regeneration," said the angel while looking at everyone in the palace, who ended up being surprised by Yamoshi having a recovery and regeneration factor. Beerus said, "If it wasn't bad enough that he's a universal level threat, he still has high-level magic support," said the God of Destruction, annoyed with the fact that Yamoshi still has this card up his sleeve. Bulma said, "If that's true, then Gogeta and Broly will have to destroy Yamoshi as fast as his regeneration. That's the only way to beat Yamoshi once and for all, because if that doesn't happen, Yamoshi will continue to regenerate, and the battle will only end when Yamoshi kills both of them," said the woman seriously while looking at the holographic screen that showed Yamoshi facing Gogeta and Broly at the same time. Soon everyone stopped talking and looked towards the holographic screen that now showed Gogeta and Broly raising their powers to the maximum and advancing towards Yamoshi. The union of Gogeta and Broly was able to leave Yamoshi cornered, and not even Yamoshi alone was not able to take care of the two Saiyans with levels of divine powers that together were giving Yamoshi a beating. Chi said, "Look, Broly and Gogeta are managing to hurt Yamoshi a lot, and that means they can beat him," said the woman excitedly while looking at the battle that was being transmitted by the holographic screen. Bulma said, "That's true, but you shouldn't get so excited that way," said the blue-haired woman while looking at Chi, who was curious about what Bulma said. Chi said, "How so? I don't understand," said the girl while looking at Bulma. Bulma said, "Look, whenever there is a battle between Saiyans, you should never count on victory because of a difference in power between them. Since Saiyans always manage to overcome and evolve during battle, and believe me, I say this from experience, I've seen several battles where Goku and Vegeta were at a disadvantage, but they always won somehow, and in most of them, they ended up gaining a new transformation. So don't get too many expectations. After all, Gogeta and Broly are fighting the first Saiyan who became a god," said the woman to Chi. Whis said, "That's right. Just like Bulma said, Yamoshi is also a Saiyan, so he can also evolve quickly while fighting, especially against someone very strong," said the angel while looking at Bulma and Chi. Beerus said, "Also, let's not forget that Yamoshi can also transform into a Super Saiyan God, so he's still not at his 100%, and Gogeta and Broly are already using 100% of their powers, so don't create so much expectations that those two can defeat Yamoshi," said the God of Destruction while keeping his gaze towards the holographic screen that was still showing the battle between the fusion of Gogeta and the legendary Saiyan Broly versus Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to become a god. Bulma said, "Guys, look, Yamoshi is saying something," said the woman, making everyone shut up and pay attention to what Yamoshi was saying, and he ended up revealing that many years ago, a being called Bibidi had used magic on his body, and for that reason he had regeneration and high recovery power. Whis said, "Looks like our theory about him having regeneration and energy recovery was right, Bulma," said the angel with one of his hands on his chin, while looking at the holographic screen that showed a small and old being with a huge M in the cap he wore on his head. Bulma said, "Bibidi? So he's Babidi's father. The being who created or found Majin Buu millions of years ago was the same person who used his magic on Yamoshi to make him stay that way," said the woman as she remembered Babidi's face and looked again at the image on the holographic screen. Beerus said, "For someone to be able to do a spell of that level, this guy Bibidi should be a powerful mage in his time, and even after so many years, his magic doesn't seem to have weakened. Other than that, Bulma, you said that Majin Buu was created by this guy Bibidi. Is that right, Bulma?" said the God of Destruction while looking at Bulma. Bulma said, "That's right. He was the one who created Majin Buu, and then Babidi, his son, was controlling Buu. Before being killed by Majin Buu himself at the time, he was evil," Bulma said while looking at the God of Destruction. Chi said, "Hey guys, Broly and Gogeta are getting a kind of red aura around their bodies," said the woman, seeing on the holographic screen that Broly and Gogeta were gaining a red aura for their bodies. Bulma said, "This is the power of Kaioken. Looks like Goku taught her to Broly. With that power, they will be very powerful, and they'll be able to finish off Yamoshi," said the woman, excited to see that Gogeta and Broly using Kaioken because now they were stronger than Yamoshi and could defeat him. Beerus thought, now that they are using the power of Kaioken, they will probably be stronger than Yamoshi. But the big question is, will Yamoshi use his divine power in this fight or not? Even though I want Yamoshi to be defeated, I want to know how strong he is when he's in his god form. I need to know, so I'm ready when I go to fight him," thought the God of Destruction while looking at a holographic screen. In the transmission made by the holographic screen, it now showed Gogeta and Broly, who were using the power of Kaioken 10X. Now with this new power increase, both Saiyans were managing to hurt Yamoshi quite a lot, and combine their attacks, Gogeta and Broly were able to make Yamoshi retreat. But even that wasn't enough, as Gogeta and Broly were in amazing sync. Thanks to that, both were putting Yamoshi against the wall, and in a quick movement, Gogeta kicked Yamoshi away. When the Saiyan would recover, Broly already appears in front of him and holds him by the head, and at high speed goes to a planet that was nearby and causes Yamoshi to cross a mountain range. but Yamoshi manages to get out of Broly's grip when he's blasted a key attack in Broly's face. But when Yamoshi thought he could think of a strategy to defeat the two Saiyans, he saw a shower of blue and green key attacks, being those attacks from Gogeta and Broly, and Yamoshi couldn't dodge and ended up sinking to the ground. Seeing that, Gogeta and Broly advance to finish Yamoshi before he recovers, but he ends up creating an explosion of heat, causing both of them to go back. And soon everyone is worried when Yamoshi yells that he would take the battle seriously, and then Gogeta and Broly appear, one on each side of Yamoshi, trying to punch Yamoshi. But Yamoshi simply held back both punches, and the smoke that had been created disappeared, and Yamoshi appeared with his red hair and an aura of flames. And before Broly and Gogeta could leave, the Yamoshi ends up showing some of his power by raising his energy, causing both Saiyans to be thrown away because of the shockwave that was created. But suddenly, the holographic screen that showed the battle between the fusion of Gogeta and Broly against Yamoshi ended up crashing, giving a kind of blue screen, preventing them from being able to continue to see the battle. Whis said, "It looks like we won't be able to see the battle anymore. Because of Yamoshi's energy, I won't be able to continue to broadcast the battle," said the angel, while looking at the holographic screen that was in a kind of blue screen, a kind of error. Beerus thought, "As I thought, this Yamoshi is a monster in power level, and it's this monster I'll have to fight," thought the god of destruction in a serious way as he looked at the holographic screen that still managed to show small frames of Yamoshi's image in his divine form. On a distant planet. On a planet far away from planet Earth, it was possible to see Gogeta and Broly side by side, facing a being in front of him, being the Yamoshi, who had now turned into a Super Saiyan God, showing that he really was the first to achieve this transformation, and that's why he's a legend. Yamoshi said, "Congratulations, you two. Really, I didn't think I would have to use this transformation so soon, after I came out of my ceiling, but you two are really impressive. You deserve me to fight seriously, or at least take you guys seriously. And for that, I'm going to use this transformation," said Yamoshi as he opened his arms to show all the splendor of his divine transformation that was as intense as the sun itself. Gogeta thought, "How so? Does he have more power now? If this is true, how is it possible that he is still so strong and still not using 100% of his real power?" thought Gogeta as he looked at Yamoshi, who was looking at him with a smile on his face. Broly thought, "Yamoshi's power is much greater than before. Will Gogeta and I be strong enough to defeat him? No, me and Gogeta won't be able to beat Yamoshi in his current state, so the most we can do is try to escape from here," the legendary Saiyan thought while looking at Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "It's been many years since I used this power, so 1,000 pardons if you can't hold the force of my blows. So I hope they have a good resistance, because they will need it," said the Saiyan with a smile on his face as he looked at Broly and Gogeta. Gogeta and Broly, seeing that the real battle was about to begin, increased their power by creating two pillars, being a dark blue and dark emerald green, both of which had small white rays, and a second aura covering the other two being scarlet red aura. This one was the power of Kaioken. After raising their power, Broly and Gogeta advanced together towards Yamoshi, who just stood there waiting for the two. In a few seconds, Gogeta and Broly had their fists aiming at Yamoshi's face a few centimeters away from Yamoshi. Thus Gogeta and Broly, they thought they would be able to hit the attack. But suddenly, when they both thought their fists would hit Yamoshi's face, both simply hit nothing but wind, as Yamoshi was no longer in that place. Seeing that both Saiyans dug their feet into the ground to turn around faster and looked back where they thought Yamoshi would be, indeed, he was there. Yamoshi was a few meters away from the two Saiyans, and Yamoshi still had his smile on his face and looked at both Saiyans, who were shocked that Yamoshi was so quick, as neither of them noticed that Yamoshi had left that place before trying hits him. Yamoshi said, "Sorry, I should have waited to take the blow from you two. But you're so slow it's even awkward, so I dodged. And please, I ask you not to be discouraged and come face me," said the Saiyan while facing Gogeta and Broly, with an air of superiority and arrogance. Gogeta and Broly, hearing that, quickly advanced towards Yamoshi and started throwing several punches and kicks towards Yamoshi, but none of the blows reached Yamoshi, who deflected with extreme mastery. In hand-to-hand combat, Gogeta, who was close to Yamoshi and tried to throw a punch, but soon created a key sphere that was very close to Yamoshi's face, and soon Gogeta fired a channeled beam of blue energy into his hand. It was a burning attack, clothing that ended up creating a trail of destruction on that planet. Broly said, "You are amazing, Gogeta. This time I don't think he can escape this point-blank attack," said the legendary Saiyan while looking at Gogeta. Gogeta said, "I don't know. I think I didn't hit him." "It didn't feel like I hit him," said Gogeta while looking at Broly. But soon both Saiyans turn around when they hear a whisper from the top of the place where they were. Yamoshi said, "If this attack had hit me, I would probably have to defend myself, so I wouldn't get hurt. But 1,000 standards inferior beings, but you couldn't hit me because I have to admit that attack was amazing. But for someone like me, it was pathetic of how weak that was." Yamoshi spoke in a proud and arrogant way as he looked at the two Saiyans. Gogeta said, "Damn it, so he really dodged my point-blank attack." He said the fusion while looking at Yamoshi, who soon got up and started stretching and doing small jumps. Yamoshi said, "Well, I've given you enough time to attack me, so I think it's time for me to start attacking. Having said that again, I beg you, don't die," said the Saiyan before disappearing in a figure made of flames. In a fraction of a second, Yamoshi appeared in front of Broly, who couldn't even notice. He just felt Yamoshi's fist hit his right rib, destroying it in the process and throwing him away. And then Yamoshi disappeared and reappeared behind Gogeta, who was at the end. When he turned around, he felt his face being held by Yamoshi, who did the same thing Broly had done to him. And Yamoshi started to fly and rub Gogeta's face on the ground, creating a trail when the Saiyan's face was dragged. And after a few minutes, Yamoshi in his god form threw Gogeta up and then shot a key sphere at Gogeta, who screamed after feeling Yamoshi's attack hitting him. Yamoshi, after attacking Gogeta with a key attack, must take a step to the side, dodging a flying kick from Broly. But Broly didn't give up in a quick moment. Broly sunk his feet and turned to Yamoshi and fired an energy beam green through his mouth towards Yamoshi, who, seeing the attack, simply slapped the attack away. And suddenly Yamoshi appeared under Broly and hit his mouth, making the rest of Broly's attack explode in his mouth that left him hurt in the process. Yamoshi, seeing Broly injured's mouth, simply smiled, and soon he sees Broly falling to the ground. But before Broly fell to the ground, Yamoshi hit Broly on his ribs, something that made Broly vomit a lot of blood. After his attack, Yamoshi turns back and makes an X using his arm and defended from Gogeta's punch, who was recovered again. It doesn't even look like he had received Yamoshi's attacks. Yamoshi said, "Apparently you recovered, and if I'm right, it's because of those green seeds that made you recover completely, isn't it? But even then you won't be able to touch me, let alone defeat me." Yamoshi spoke right away, punching Gogeta in the face and then shooting a key sphere at him, causing Gogeta to be sent away, where a big explosion occurred. But Yamoshi at the same time looked at Gogeta as he saw a big shadow on his back, making him turn around and defend against Broly's crushing blow. But Yamoshi simply defended the attack with one of his hands. Yamoshi spoke, "I'm already tired, you know," said Yamoshi, throwing his hands up, making a crushing attack, and threw over Broly. But the legendary Saiyan quickly tried to punch Yamoshi, who easily held him. And not only held him, but this time, Yamoshi attacked him using an elbow against Broly's elbow, breaking Broly's arm at the same moment. Thus, Broly had his right arm broken, and before he could speak or do anything, Yamoshi hit him with a key-coated punch in Broly's face, causing him to pass out in the process. Gogeta, who was still recovering, decided to go for Yamoshi once more, but that wasn't necessary as Yamoshi appeared beside him, and with a kick, he broke Gogeta's leg, and with a slap, Gogeta was thrown close to Broly. At that moment, Gogeta tries to get up, but his time was up. Then a great light covered his body, and when the light disappeared, the fusion between Goku and Vegeta was over, and now Goku and Vegeta were on Broly's side. Vegeta said, "Shit, fusion time is up. Kakarot, we have to get out of here immediately," said the Prince of Saiyans, worried and afraid, and then Vegeta held Goku's shoulder. Goku said, "Then let's go," said the Saiyan with extreme pain in his leg. But he tried to ignore it, and soon the three Saiyans disappeared from that place, leaving only Yamoshi on that planet. Yamoshi said, "So those two were a fusion. Impressive, but still not enough to make me excited to actually use my power. Does the 6th universe have strong Saiyans like this universe? Well, the only way to find out is by going there." Yamoshi spoke, deactivating his divine form and then looking at the sky of the planet with a new objective to fulfill. Planet Earth. Currently on planet Earth, it was possible to see Bulma, Chilai, Whis, and Beerus together looking at the holographic screen that was broken because of the power that Yamoshi released, ending up ruining the holographic screen. But sometimes it would work again for a few seconds. Bulma said, "Are Gogeta and Broly okay? Are they still alive?" The woman spoke as she looked at the holographic screen and then looked at Whis and Beerus. Beerus said, "Don't worry, those two are still alive, as I can still feel their ki. But I don't think it will last long compared to the power Yamoshi is releasing," said the god of destruction while watching the holographic screen, worried. Chilai said, "Wait, so does that mean Broly and Gogeta won't be able to defeat Yamoshi? But they were fighting him so well," said the woman, worried about Broly, since he could die any time in that battle. Whis said, "Unfortunately, no. Not even Gogeta and Broly using Kaioken 10 will be able to defeat Yamoshi in his Super Saiyan God form. The only hope for those two is that they manage to escape from there now, because if they don't, they will definitely be killed by Yamoshi," said the angel in a very serious way while looking at everyone in the place. Bulma thought, "Goku, Vegeta, please, get out of there now. You have to run away from this battle. Otherwise you two will be killed, and I don't want to have to see you two dead again in front of me," thought Bulma in a sad tone that made her remember several moments when she saw her husband and childhood friend very hurt and even dead in front of her. Whis spoke. "The battle is over," said the angel beside Beerus, who soon closed his eyes, giving a heavy sigh. Chilai said, "Where's Broly?" Chilai screamed desperately, already letting some tears run down her face. Bulma said, "If the battle is over, then it means that Gogeta and Broly were defeated. And if they haven't come back by now, then it means that," said Bulma, almost crying, but soon she held back her crying as she heard a noise of something falling to the ground, causing Bulma to turn her face towards the noise. Right after everyone heard the strange noise, everyone turned to see what it was. And the reason for that noise was Broly, Vegeta, and Goku, who fell to the ground with several injuries. Broly was in a more serious condition with several bones in his body broken, and especially his arm was broken. As for Goku, who had his legs broken, which was making the Saiyan groan in pain for having his legs broken. Vegeta, among the three, was more relaxed, feeling pain all over his body, especially in his leg, which was very sore because Yamoshi had broken Gogeta's leg, which made Vegeta's leg very painful. Chilai said, "Broly!" Screamed Chilai upon seeing her friend's condition, who was too hurt to be honest. Broly was in a bad shape and would probably die if he didn't get medical help right away. Bulma said, "Vegeta! Goku!" screamed the woman when she saw the state of her husband and her childhood friend who was well injured. Bulma said, "Damn it! Take them and put them inside the regeneration pods immediately," ordered the woman to some doctors who were already ready for what happened. Bulma said, "They're fine. Injured, but well enough not to die. Rest assured, Chilai, Broly is not going to die. He's just very injured, but he will survive. So try to calm down, please," said the blue-haired woman, trying to comfort Chilai, who was crying a lot when she saw Broly's state, which made her automatically remember Lemma was dead, and if Broly dies herself, she would be alone once again. Sometime later. Some time had passed since the moment that Broly, Goku, and Vegeta had arrived at that place, and now it was possible to see Broly and Goku inside the recovery capsule. Vegeta was already more restored since he didn't have so many injuries and only needed to use one type ointment on his muscles to relax them, apart from using some medication to ease the pain in his body. Currently, it was possible to see everyone gathered in the living room of that island, and Bulma was next to Vegeta, who was already better than Goku, and Broly, who was still injured and with some pain and around their body. Whis, Beerus, and Chilai were also close to the recovery pod. Whis said, "Good, Vegeta. What do you have for us to talk about Yamoshi?" asked the angel while looking at Vegeta. Beerus said, "Tell us everything you know about him, Vegeta. Tell us about his transformations, even about his powers." The God of Destruction spoke in a very serious tone while looking at the Prince of Saiyans. Vegeta said, "That guy is a real monster. From the beginning of our fight, he was holding back his power to not kill us so fast. He was just having fun with the fight. And when I merged with Kakarot, me and Kakarot got to know that he was holding back a lot of his power. So much so that in most combat, he was wearing an outfit that was many times more Pasadas than planet Earth. And for him, it was very normal to wear that outfit," said the Prince of the Saiyans while looking at everyone in the place who were surprised by Yamoshi's physical strength. Bulma said, "Only his clothes were heavier than a planet? If he's that strong in base form, I can already imagine how strong he is when he's transformed into Super Saiyan God form," said the woman, shocked by the strength of the first Saiyan to become a god. Vegeta said, "Millions of times stronger. Even Gogeta and Broly using Kaioken 10x couldn't face him. And even though I don't want to believe it, I have to say I believe that Yamoshi wasn't using his 100% true power," said the Prince of Saiyans while looking at everyone in the place, especially Beerus, who had his eyes closed. But Vegeta and Beerus could see that Beerus was nervous and even worried, because according to him, Yamoshi is the prophetic Saiyan who will defeat him, and Beerus realizes how Yamoshi was a very strong candidate to defeat him, the current God of Destruction of Universe 7. Beerus spoke, "Whis, have you found Yamoshi's new location yet? After they came back, I can't feel Yamoshi's energy anymore," said the God of Destruction while looking at his angel, who soon took his staff and looked at it to track him, but Whis couldn't find where Yamoshi was. Whis said, "1,000 pardons, Sir Beerus, but it was still not possible to find Yamoshi's whereabouts," said the angel while looking at Beerus, who gave a heavy sigh as he put his hand on top of his head out of frustration for not knowing where Yamoshi was. Vegeta said, "Mr. Beerus, I would like to ask you to train me so I can face Yamoshi again," said the Prince of the Saiyans while looking at the God of Destruction, who soon raised his head and faced Vegeta. Bulma said, "Not really. You're too injured to train, and you're already taking a beating from Yamoshi, and you want to face him again? Not even," speaking to Bulma, annoyed with her husband's attitude. Vegeta said, "Don't come with that, Bulma. If I don't get stronger when Yamoshi comes to planet Earth, he's going to kill everyone, and I'm not going to stand here waiting for death to come and let you die," said the Saiyan very determined while looking at his wife. Beerus said, "Vegeta is right, Bulma. Yamoshi will come to Earth at one time or the other, and that's why I'm going to train you, Vegeta. But first you need to recover, then I'll train you. So recover quickly because we don't have time to waste." The God of Destruction spoke seriously to the Saiyan. Bulma said, "Since I can't stop that from happening, I can at least take care of you until you recover fully, so you can return to combat. Don't worry because I'll put some more ointment on your wounds so that can heal as soon as possible," spoke Bulma angrily, getting up and then being followed by her husband, thus leaving only Whis and Beerus in the room. Whis said, "Mr. Beerus, I don't want to be curious, but I need to ask. Training Vegeta to face Yamoshi is not the only reason, right?" asked the angel to Beerus, who threw his head back so he was looking at the ceiling. Beerus said, "No, Goku wouldn't want that. So it's better to put Vegeta in my place in case the worst happens," spoke the God of Destruction in a serious way to Whis. Whis said, "So you have decided. Your successor to the position of God of Destruction will be Lord Vegeta, and for that you will teach him the power of the Hakaishin." The angel spoke in a serious way, and at the same time sad to know that Beerus might end up dying, and that's why he chose the one who will be the next God of Destruction of the 7th universe, and his name is Vegeta. Meanwhile, Yamoshi was heading to Universe 6 in search of new Saiyans. Now with Yamoshi. Currently with Yamoshi, it was possible to see the Saiyan traveling through the stars in search of a planet thousands of years ago that he had visited and left some important information that could lead him to the 6th universe. Yamoshi said, "If I remember correctly, millions of years ago, Bibidi told me about the existing 18th universes created by the certain Zeno-sama. And if my memory serves me correctly, he had said that the 6th and 7th universes, they were twin universes, so they must be Saiyans in the 6th universe. But is there someone in this world with the power of the legendary Super Saiyan? Or is there someone who has at least one power considered divine? Well, the only way to find out is to go there, so let's hurry things up. The legendary Super Saiyan God spoke before flying through the vacuum of space in search of a planet he hadn't visited in a long time. It didn't take long for Yamoshi to arrive on a planet similar to planet Earth, but that planet's solar system was green, unlike the original Earth's solar system, which is yellow. So the Saiyan entered the atmosphere of that planet and went towards a mountain that had a waterfall of greenish waters. Yamoshi said, "If I remember correctly, it's this waterfall that used to be the Bibidi Research Center. Is that old wizard still alive?" "Probably not," said the Saiyan before entering under the waterfall, where there was a cave where Yamoshi entered. Soon the legendary Saiyan followed to the end of the cave, where there was a huge steel door that should easily weigh millions of tons. But for Yamoshi it was nothing. So that way Yamoshi managed to open the gigantic door. A mysterious being said, "Look who it is. Looks like the old monkey is still alive." said the mysterious being sitting on a chair while looking at Yamoshi's face, who just smiled when looking at that being. Yamoshi said, "So that means you're still alive, Bibidi. He's a lot older and uglier than when we first met," said the Saiyan as he looked at the mage in front of him. Bibidi said, "1,000 pardons for not aging like you Saiyans. I had to use one of my spells to keep myself alive in this world, and believe it or not, I even had a child different from you who disappeared from this world without leaving a descendant, a son of your race, a Saiyan like you," said the wizard while playing with Yamoshi's face, who ended up getting a vein pulsing in his forehead. Yamoshi said, "You have a lot of courage to talk like that to someone who has a level of power that equals a god, and can even surpass it, you crazy old man," said the Saiyan while looking at Bibidi, who just laughed at Yamoshi's face. Bibidi said, "You have the power of a god, and I have the ability to do magic that can kill a god, so don't threaten me, Yamoshi. But now, our exchange of threats aside, what do you want with me? Because I know you wouldn't come here to pay an old acquaintance a visit," said the wizard, Bibidi, while looking at Yamoshi, who soon returned to a calmer expression. Yamoshi said, "No, I didn't come here just to see if you were still alive, you mummy. I came here for you to help me go to another of the 18th universes, but precisely to a universe that has other Saiyans like me. Already that the Saiyan of this universe are practically extinct." Yamoshi spoke while looking at the wizard Bibidi, who had soon put his hand on his chin while thinking. Bibidi said, "Let me guess, you're looking for the surviving Saiyans of this universe 7, and you already fought him. And let me guess, you defeated them, and that made you want to face even more Saiyans. And as in this universe, you already defeated them all, so you want to go to another universe," spoke the mage Bibidi, judging Yamoshi's actions while looking at Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "That's right. I faced the one who possessed the power of the legendary Super Saiyan known as Broly, and another who was a fusion between two Saiyans, who was called Gogeta. They had such great powers that I had to use my divine transformation. Of course for a short time, but even if it was an exciting battle, and that's why I want to face more Saiyans from all other universes," said the Saiyan, excited when remembering his fight against Gogeta and against Broly, something that made him even more excited to face other Saiyans. Bibidi said, "Now it makes sense that I felt that wave of divine energy that arrived on this planet of mine. As always, you can't stop wanting to fight strong opponents. I can't say many things since this is part of your nature. The Saiyans always, they're looking for a reason to fight and get stronger. It seems like a vicious cycle," said the wizard Bibidi, soon giving a sigh as he looked at Yamoshi, who just laughed while cracking his neck. Yamoshi said, "I'm a Saiyan. Battles are in my veins, so trying to deny that is the same as denying my own existence," said the Saiyan while looking at Bibidi, who was looking at him all the time. Yamoshi said, "So will you help me or not to go to another universe so I can have more exciting fights, like I had recently against those Saiyans Broly and Gogeta, since they must be the strongest in the universe, after of course," said the Saiyan while looking seriously at Bibidi, who soon gave a sigh. Bibidi said, "It's okay. I'll help you, you idiot, monkey. but it will take at least a few days before I can open a gap between the 6th and 7th universes. Until then, stay there resting or training. Just don't get involved in battles for now," said the mage Bibidi, leaving Yamoshi confused by the mage's request not to involve him in fights. Yamoshi said, "Why can't I get involved in fights?" said the Saiyan, confused while looking at the mage in front of him. Bibidi said, "It's simple, you dumb monkey. Whenever you fight, you release a lot of your energy, and this causes distortions in the universe. And for me to create a rift between universes, I need the energy of the universe to remain calm and neutral. And if you fight, it will make the universe chaotic, and that will prevent me from being able to create the rift. So if you really want to go to another universe, stay very quiet there in your corner. Or I don't know why you will travel between the planets, since you don't see a million years. Who knows? Maybe you won't find a descendant, a son of his lost around here," said the mage, explaining to Yamoshi the reason he didn't fight for a while. Yamoshi said, "Since this is how I'm going to get some sleep. I haven't slept in a quality bed in millennia, and then I think I'll have some fun in some planets to play with some women," said the legendary Saiyan before leaving that one place, and goes to another room further back in the cave, where there was a room that belonged to him when he was on that planet. Bibidi thought, "Here, I was thinking that this dumb stupid monkey had been killed or sealed, but it looks like some idiot ended up freeing him, and now he's back in this world. I'm glad he doesn't want to kill me, because if he didn't, I would. Cancel his energy regeneration and recovery, because if it wasn't for that, I'm sure he would be killed by those Saiyans," thought the wizard before starting to read some things in his book, and then going to get some items to perform the magic for creating a rift between two dimensions. A few days later. A few days had passed since the day that Yamoshi had asked Bibidi to open a rift, a portal to another universe. During this period, Yamoshi did what he had said before. So Yamoshi went to other planets and had fun with many women. In compensation for the places he passed through, he destroyed some civilizations simply because he wanted to. He had no reason. Yamoshi did it for pure pleasure. And now on the planet of Bibidi, it was possible to see Yamoshi, who had returned, since the wizard Babidi was in the center of the laboratory and had finally finished performing his magic, thus creating a portal to the 6th universe. Bibidi said, "It's ready, Yamoshi. This portal will take you to some random location in the 6th universe. Now it's up to you. You'll have to find out where the Saiyans live," said the mage while looking at Yamoshi, who was very excited to find the Universe 6 Saiyans. Yamoshi said, "Don't worry, Bibidi. I'll find a way to find those Saiyans," said the Saiyan with a huge smile on his face. Bibidi said, "But before you go, get this," said the wizard, creating an item, being a ring, and gave it to Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "What is this for, Bibidi?" asked the Saiyan while looking at the ring. Bibidi said, "I put the magic of the portal between universes in this ring. So when you want to go to this universe, and just put your divine energy in it, the portal will open. Now get off my planet at once," said the wizard in a rigid tone while looking at Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "Thank you, Bibidi," said the Saiyajin, putting the ring on his finger and then entering the portal that then closed. In the 6th universe on the planet of the God of Destruction, currently on the planet of the God of Destruction of the 6th universe, it was possible to see Champa, the current God of Destruction of that universe, sitting at a table full of food, and he was eating a type of chicken pie, and sitting next to him on the table, Vados Anja was responsible for taking care of that universe, and he is also Champa's assistant. Champa spoke. "It's amazing how delicious food made by humans is. Choosing to use the Super Dragon Balls to bring back our planet Earth was a very important decision." The God of Destruction spoke while taking a bite of the chicken pie. Vados said, "So you should thank your brother, shouldn't you, Mr. Champa? After all, he was the one who decided to use the Super Dragon Balls to bring the humans of our universe back to life, after we were defeated by them in the tournament between Universe 6 and 7, said the woman with a smug smile on her face, as she looked at Champa's face, who was irritated by her Anja always remembering that the humans of the 6th universe are only alive because Beerus, his brother, wished it. Champa said, "You don't need to remind me of that all the time, woman. And even if you say that, I will never thank Beerus for using the Super Dragon Balls and wishing to bring the humans of our universe back to life," said the God of Destruction, a little annoyed while looking at Vados. Vados said, "But that's not all you should thank Mr. Beerus for. Or have you forgotten that it was the 7th universe that won the Tournament of Power and asked the Super Dragon Balls to bring not only our universe, but yes, all other universes that participated in the tournament? Said the Anja while putting a scoop of strawberry ice cream in her mouth. Champa said, I'm not going to thank that idiot Beerus for anything. And if I know well who wished that all the universes that participated in the Tournament of Power would come back to life, it was that android number 17, when I would never thank him, said the God of Destruction angrily while looking at his Anja, who was ignoring Champa's tantrum, who was focused on eating her ice cream. While Champa threw a tantrum about not wanting to thank his brother, Beerus, while Vado said that he should thank Beerus because without him, Champa would be dead and couldn't eat such delicious food anymore. But on the other side of Universe 6, a portal opened across the 6th universe. On the other side of the 6th universe, on any lifeless planet, it was possible to see a portal opening and from it a Saiyan coming out, and that was Yamoshi, who was excited by Bibidi's magic to have worked. Yamoshi said, looks like everything went well, and now I'm in Universe 6. I'm excited to see how powerful the Saiyans of this universe are, said the Saiyan, excited to be able to face new Saiyans and see if they are strong enough to make him use his new transformation that leaves Yamoshi with blonde hair. This is the Super Saiyan that Yamoshi recently awakened in his battle against Broly and Gogeta. Yamoshi said, now that I'm here, I wonder, is there someone in this universe who also became a god and ended up becoming a legend for the Saiyans of this world? I don't know, but I know that if he exists and if he is alive, I will face him and defeat him, because only a legend of the first Saiyan to become a god must exist, and that will be me, said the Saiyan, opening a huge smile while imagining himself defeating another Saiyan. Yamoshi said, well, now what should I do to find out where the Saiyans of this world live? Should I go traveling from planet to planet? Should I try to get information, or should I go around killing everyone in my way until someone tells me where they live? Said the Saiyan while thinking about how to find where the Saiyans of the universe live. Yamoshi said, going out killing everyone until someone tells me something seems like a good idea, but it could attract the attention of the God of Destruction of this universe, and I'm not in the mood to face him. It's not because I would be killed or defeated by him, but because my goal is just to fight the Saiyans. But if they get in my way, I will kill him, even if I have to kill the Supreme Kaio Lord of this universe, and that way the God of Destruction of this universe dies too, said the Saiyan while thinking about the possible future fight against a God of Destruction, something that excited him, but not as much as wanting to fight a Saiyan. Yamoshi said, well, I think I'll pretend to be weak and go around asking about the Saiyans, and when I find out where they live, I'll go there immediately and see if they are strong, said the Saiyan, soon taking a bracelet that was on his pocket, and then he placed it on his arm, making a light appear on his body, and soon revealing his old appearance that he had when he came out of his ceiling, and without further delay, he began to fly towards other planets in search of information about the Saiyans. Yamoshi thought, look, it seems that the angel of this universe along with the God of Destruction felt my power. What will they do to me? Thought the Saiyan, curious with the fact that he had already attracted the eyes of the angel and the current God of Destruction of the 6th universe. Yamoshi said, it doesn't matter. Even if it's a God of Destruction, I'll kill him. And it's okay without any problem, said the Saiyan, immediately leaving that place. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, Broly and Goku were still recovering from their injuries, and their lives were no longer in danger. And very soon Yamoshi could appear on planet Earth to finish his work, and thus kill Broly, Vegeta, and Goku. But Whis had an idea. Whis said, this not cool situation. If Yamoshi comes here, it'll be the end. So Broly and Goku need to train too, since you, Beerus, will train Vegeta to master the power of Hakai. Beerus spoke. Do you have something on your mind, Whis? Beerus asked, confused, not understanding what Whis meant by all that. Whis said, yes, I have a plan. It's simple. Let's make Broly's Ozaru form come out from the inside out. Since in Super Berserker, he dominates the Ozaru inside his body. If Broly managed to do that, we will have a new power to help Vegeta and Goku to try to defeat Yamoshi. Whis spoke, revealing his plan. Beerus said, why didn't you say that before, Whis? Let's put this plan into practice as soon as he recovers, said Beerus, excited and trusting, but still feeling scared because if Whis' plan does not work and goes wrong, he will have to face Yamoshi. Now back to Yamoshi. Currently on the planet of the God of Destruction of Universe 6, it was possible to see that Champa and Vados had finally finished eating all the food that was on the table, and now they were resting, but soon they both ended up feeling a lot of energy, coming from the other side of the universe. Champa said, "Vados, you just felt it, didn't you? Such gigantic and overwhelming energy," said the God of Destruction in a serious way, while looking at Vados, who was as surprised as Champa. Vados said, "Yes, sir, Champa. I also felt that power, and I would say that it is very strong, whoever it is," said the angel while looking at Champa. But soon, they both stopped feeling all that power, and Champa said it disappeared. Did this being just die? No, he must have hidden his own power. Now the question is, who is this being? What does he want in my universe? Said the God of Destruction, nervous and with a little fear when feeling that power. Champa thought, but why am I feeling this way? I am more nervous than the day of the Tournament of Power, and at that time I felt like I would be killed at any moment, but now I'm feeling the same way, only much stronger than before, thought the God of Destruction while shivering slightly, and left a single line of cold sweat running down his face and falling to the floor. Champa thought, why am I feeling this way? I am a God of Destruction, and I have more power than this being, but I am still shaking. Who is this being? Thought the God of Destruction, irritated because of his trembling, and with a lot of anger at this being that made him stay that way. Champa said, Vados, I want you to find this being that has this monstrous amount of energy as soon as possible, and tell Cabba, Caulifla, and Kale that they have to be on high alert. The God of Destruction spoke in a truly serious tone. Something almost impossible to see. Champa was never someone who talks about serious things. Vados said, I understand, Mr. Champa, but now I have a doubt. I understand that you want to find out who this being that has so much energy is, but why should I talk to Cabba, Kale, and Caulifla? Asked the woman, soon standing up and taking her stick. Champa said, I don't really know why, but for some reason I feel that this being has some relationship with the Saiyans, and that's why I want you to warn them. And not only that, I also want you to take the Potara earrings to Caulifla and Kale. I don't know what's going to happen, but if things get ugly, it's good for Kefla to show up in this situation. Now go and do what I've told you now, said the God of Destruction as he looked at Vados. Vados spoke, Yes, Sir Champa. As she said that just before disappearing from the place, leaving only Champa on the dinner table. Champa thought, I don't know who you are, but I know your being in my universe is already a problem, and that's something I can't allow. So if anything gets in a serious tone, and even Kefla can't solve it, then I'll go myself, having to fight this man even though my instincts tell me to stay as far as possible. I will kill him using my Hakai. That way he will be erased from existence, thought the God of Destruction as he released his energy of destruction that ended up making the dining room very destroyed, with several cracks everywhere. A few days had passed since the moment that Yamoshi had arrived in that universe, during which time Yamoshi sought information about the Saiyans and where they should be living. Yamoshi, in addition to seeking information about the Saiyans, he discovered that there were some beings in that world who were very strong, such as an assassin named Hit, said to be one of the strongest warriors in that universe. And in an unintentional way, he discovered that in that universe there had been a tournament of power where the strongest warriors of all the universes ended up facing each other. Something that caused a lot of envy in Yamoshi for not having participated in a tournament like this. After all, he was a Saiyan, and fighting powerful beings from all universes was something natural for him, and it made Yamoshi sad that he didn't participate. Now on a trading planet. On a planet focused on making sales and purchases of items from all over the universe, it was possible to see an old Saiyan sitting on the edge of a building while he was eating an apple and had a newspaper in his hand, and that man was Yamoshi, who was reading about the Saiyans in the newspaper. Yamoshi read, Once again the Saiyans managed to maintain peace and harmony after preventing a new war between the Red Zekians and Blue Zekians, and now both sides had made a peace treaty. The one who was responsible for such an act was Cabba, the leader from the Battle of the Saiyans, along with his two strongest allies being Kale and Caulifla. Yamoshi read as he finished eating his apple, and then threw the newspaper away with a smile of shame and disgust. Yamoshi said, Saiyans trying to keep the peace? This is indeed a bad joke. Saiyans are machines created to only fight and destroy. The These Saiyans are seeking peace and harmony between the beings of this universe. They must die. The Saiyans as they are must battle and conquer the planets and not save and protect them. I must really show these Saiyans how a real Saiyan acts, said the Saiyan soon, getting up and flying out of that place towards the planet Sadala, which is where the Saiyans of Universe 6 lived so far. Now on planet Sadala. Currently on the planet Sadala, the home of the Saiyans of the 6th universe, it was possible to see 3 Saiyans in a desert and lifeless place, and those 3 Saiyans were Cabba, Kale, and Caulifla, and said to be the strongest Saiyans who had the ability to transform into Super Saiyan. Soon the 3 Saiyans disappeared from where they were and reappeared one in front of the other. And then the 3 Saiyans started a battle where Cabba was attacked by the other 2 Saiyans, who had a good combination of battle in pairs, since the 2 were good friends, and Hao was also a teacher and discipline. Cabba, who was now receiving attacks from the 2 Saiyans, didn't even have a worried expression, as the Saiyan was much stronger than at the time of the Tournament of Power. Cabba, seeing that Kale and Caulifla's punches were getting stronger and faster, he decided to increase his power, and in this way he made the rhythm of the 2 break, and in a quick movement, Cabba was in front of Kale throwing a punch in the girl's abdomen, and then giving a right hook to the chin in Kale, and to finish, he made a beam of energy to be fired from his hand, causing it to be thrown far away. Caulifla, seeing that her disciple was being beaten, she flew at high speeds towards Cabba, and soon they both started a violent and high-speed battle. But soon the rhythm of the battle was broken when a ball of green ki hits Cabba, causing him to be thrown away. Seeing that Caulifla looked at the direction from where the blow had been thrown, being that at the place was Kale in his Super Saiyan 1 Control legendary form. Seeing that Caulifla animated and also transformed into his Super Saiyan form, and soon the 2 Saiyan women turned to where Cabba was, who also transformed and was already in a fighting posture. And soon the 3 Saiyans advanced against each other, causing great destruction in the place because of the shock of the Saiyans' attacks, and they stayed in that place for some time. But after that time, the 3 stopped training and decided to eat a little to recover their energies. Caulifla said, "Hey Cabba, you're much stronger than you were at the time of the Tournament of Power. You don't seem like a weak Saiyan anymore," said Caulifla with a smirk while looking at Cabba, who just gave a smile. Kale said, "Caulifla doesn't talk about Cabba like that, but she's right when she says you're stronger than before, Cabba," spoke Kale, scolding his master and then praising Cabba's strength, which is much stronger than before. Cabba said, "I appreciate the compliment, Kale, and also, now I don't need to transform myself into a Super Saiyan to defeat the other Saiyans who call themselves high-class or pure-blood Saiyans, and that annoys me a lot," said the Saiyan, a little indignant with the other Saiyans who always challenge him to try to defeat him. Caulifla said, "On this I must agree with you. Those guys are very annoying and arrogant. They even look like that Vegeta from Universe 7, said the Saiyan while looking at Cabba, who ended up raising some of his power, creating a crack in the stone he was leaning against. Cabba said, "Caulifla, I will not let you speak ill of my master, much less compare him with those insects that think they are the center of the universe. My master is arrogant, but that is because he is very powerful as a Saiyan, and arrogant without power only makes someone stupid," said Cabba, defending his master from the 7th universe. A mysterious being said, "Finally, someone said something right in this universe. I must admit I didn't expect someone from Universe 7 to train someone from Universe 6, but it's not too hard to believe since these 2 universes are twin universes," said one being mysterious on top of a rock while looking at the 3 Saiyans, who soon got up and went into combat stance. Caulifla said, "Who are you? What do you want with us?" spoke Caulifla, already in fight stance. Yamoshi said, "Sorry for my lack of education. I am Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to become a god of Universe 7, and I came from far to face those who must be the strongest Saiyans in this universe, and from what I could perceive, you 3 are the strongest, isn't it?" said Yamoshi, taking off his cloak and looking at the 6th universe Saiyans, who were shocked to hear such information. Cabba said, "A Saiyan from Universe 7? I thought that Master Vegeta and Mr. Goku together with their sons were the last Saiyans alive in Universe 7. So how is it possible for you to be alive?" asked the Saiyan as he looked at Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "I'm not really in the mood to tell the story of my life. In fact, I came here with a single purpose and objective, which is to fight the strongest Saiyans in this universe, and that's what I'll do," So if you don't come above me, I will come to you." Yamoshi spoke before disappearing and reappearing in front of Cabba, who had made an X using his arms to defend himself from Yamoshi's attack that made him fly a little far away. Seeing that, Kale and Caulifla advanced against Yamoshi, who held the punches of both Saiyans, who didn't care since a few seconds several key spears fired by Cabba, who was further away, hit Yamoshi, making him release the fists of the girls, who taking advantage of that gave a double kick at Yamoshi, sending him towards a mountain from that location. Yamoshi barely had time to prepare a counterattacks, since Cabba, Kale, and Caulifla were already in front of him, making a coordinated sequence of attacks that Yamoshi had to defend, since they were 3 against 1, and even then that battle is balanced, until Caulifla transformed into a Super Saiyan, making the battle raise the level, and not only her, since Cabba and Kale were transformed as well. Yamoshi, who was already at a clear numerical disadvantage and now in strength, that forced Yamoshi to remove his bracelet, releasing his strength and returning to his younger appearance, and now the fight was really balanced. Yamoshi said, "Show me, children, the power of the Saiyans of this universe, because if I'm not satisfied with this battle, then I will have to destroy this planet, because I'm not allowing weak Saiyans to live," said Yamoshi, making his threat to destroy all the Saiyans of Universe 6, including planet Sadala. In the battle between Yamoshi versus the 3 Saiyans of Universe 6. Currently in the 6th universe, it was possible to see Cabba, Kale, and Caulifla next to each other, and the 3 were transformed into their Super Saiyan forms, and further away from the Saiyans of the 6th universe was Yamoshi, who had now removed his bracelet, and now they look younger and stronger than before. Caulifla said, "How did that old man get that way?" speaking to Caulifla while looking at the younger appearance of Yamoshi, who had a huge smile on his face. Kale said, "Not only does he look younger, but he also seems to be much stronger than before." Cabba said, surprised by the large amount of energy that was emanating from the Saiyan's body. Cabba said, "Stronger or not, he still won't be able to defeat us. After all, we are the 3 strongest Saiyans in the 6th universe, and together we will be able to defeat this guy." Cabba spoke confident that he and the Saiyan girls would be able to face and defeat Yamoshi and protect their planet. Yamoshi said, "What did you say, that I won't be able to defeat you because I'm outnumbered 3 versus 1? Don't compare me, you 3. You are so weak to me. I am someone who is much more powerful than each of you. Ha ha!" said the Saiyan, soon putting himself in a kind of combat stance. Caulifla said, "Let's see if you're that strong." Speaking of that, the woman soon advanced alone towards Yamoshi while ignoring her companions and going towards Yamoshi. Seeing Caulifla coming towards him, Yamoshi just smiles before starting to run towards the Caulifla, who was coming towards him. Soon the Saiyans meet and start a melee combat, where Yamoshi was taking the advantage as he wasn't receiving any of Caulifla's attacks, that even though she was very fast, she wasn't fast enough to dodge Yamoshi's punches that were already making her bleed. But soon Yamoshi raises his arm to defend himself from a flying kick made by Kale that threw him away from Caulifla, and without delay Cabba appeared in front of Yamoshi, giving him a sequence of punches. But Yamoshi wasn't even feeling those blows. Then Yamoshi pointed his hand towards Cabba's face and fired a key sphere that threw the Saiyan away. But before he hit a wall, Caulifla and Kale appear and hold him, preventing him from hitting his back on the wall. Yamoshi thought, they even have good teamwork compared to that Gogeta and Broly, who also had good teamwork. But these 3 have much better teamwork. Maybe it's because they've trained a lot as a team, since that's what the intergalactic newspapers were talking about. It just makes me even more excited to fight them, thought Yamoshi, excited to fight the trio of powerful Saiyans. Caulifla said, "He's pretty strong, so it looks like we'll have to fight him together, or we'll all end up dead." Speaking of the woman while looking at Kale and Cabba, Cabba spoke, "Now I think I understand. This must be the guy we felt before with the immense power, and this must also be the guy Vados asked to keep an eye out for, in case he shows up in our universe. Kale and Caulifla, do you have your Potara earrings that Vados gave you?" said Cabba, already finding out who the Saiyan was in front of him and how strong he was. Kale said, "Yes, they're with us, and if we can't fight him, then Caulifla and I will merge and we'll become Kefla, and for sure we'll be able to defeat this Yamoshi guy," said the woman while looking at Cabba, who heaved a sigh of relief. Caulifla said, "Well, enough talk. It's time to end this guy once and for all, and it won't be necessary to do the Kale fusion. We are much stronger than before, and we will show it here and now." Caulifla said, raising his power. Something Cabba and Kale do the same and raise their powers. That way the three Saiyans turn into Super Saiyan 2. Yamoshi thought, it looks like they got stronger than before, so I think I can take this fight more seriously too, thought Yamoshi, removing his shirt, which had a huge weight. That way Yamoshi was lighter and faster. Soon Yamoshi began to float and flew at high speed towards the three Saiyans, who did the same thing. Soon the four Saiyans met and started a battle that in a few seconds was happening in the sky. But in this new combat something was different because Yamoshi was losing, as the three Saiyans were very strong and had a good sense of team battle. Cabba, who was closest to Yamoshi, elbowed Yamoshi's right rib, making him release a little saliva in his mouth. Then Kale appeared and kicked the Saiyan from top to down, throwing him up when Caulifla was, and soon he punched Yamoshi in the face. And in a few seconds Kale appeared under Yamoshi and held his leg where she spun Yamoshi in the air, throwing him on the floor of that place. The moment Yamoshi hit his back on the ground of that place, creating a big crater, but that wasn't over yet because the moment Yamoshi looked up, he saw three energy beams coming towards him, being the attack of the three Saiyans. Yamoshi couldn't flee the place, and so he was hit by the three attacks of the Saiyans. Cabba spoke. "Don't think he's been defeated yet. Let's finish him while he's still weak," said the Saiyan, soon flying towards Yamoshi, being followed by Kale and Caulifla. At the moment that the three Saiyans entered the crater, they saw Yamoshi getting up, but the three Saiyans did not stop and advance. But at that moment that Yamoshi got up, he released his power, turning into a Super Saiyan. And in a few seconds, Cabba ends up vomiting a lot of blood when he felt a punch from Yamoshi that hit him with great force and speed, making the Saiyan fly out of that place. Kale and Caulifla, seeing this, advanced against Yamoshi, but Yamoshi was faster and disappeared and reappeared in front of Caulifla, hitting her with a kick in the face, and without even looking back, he fired a key sphere towards Kale. Cabba, who had already recovered a bit from the previous attack, advanced towards Yamoshi. Cabba said, "We are strong enough to defeat this guy." Kale, Caulifla merged and became Kefla, and will only be the one who can fight this guy, screamed the Saiyan while looking at Kale and Caulifla, who were injured. But Cabba, who started a combat against Yamoshi alone to give Kale and Caulifla time to merge. But Cabba and Caulifla's attacks no longer had the same force that made Yamoshi feel anything else from a mosquito bite. Yamoshi said, "You are weak, Saiyan." Yamoshi spoke right away, punching Cabba and knocked him out at the same moment. After defeating Cabba, Yamoshi would go straight to face Kale and Caulifla, but the moment he turned around, an intense light surrounded Kale and Caulifla's body, and after a few moments, in place of the two girls, there was only one woman, being the Kefla, the fusion of Kale and Caulifla. Kefla said, "Now that I've arrived in this battle, you better give up, and if you don't, you can leave here lifeless. But if you choose to fight, I'll have to kill you." The fusion spoke while looking at Yamoshi, who, seeing that, decided to kick Cabba's unconscious body in the direction of Kefla, who soon catches him. But at that moment, in seconds, Kefla received a punch in the face from Yamoshi, making her fly away, still with Cabba's body in her hands. Yamoshi said, "You talk too much, girl. Now that you've merged, you must be stronger. So come on, show me what you've got, and come and try and hurt the Saiyan God." Yamoshi spoke in an arrogant and proud way while looking at Kefla. Kefla, seeing that, got up, and the same left towards Yamoshi, who put himself in a fight posture before rushing towards Kefla, and in a few seconds both Saiyans clashed their fists, creating several cracks in the floor of that place. And then the exchange of punches and kicks was initiated by the two Saiyans, and Kefla was losing because of Yamoshi's extreme speed. Kefla, seeing this, stopped holding back and decided to transform into a Super Saiyan. And after her transformation, Kefla, at an even greater level of speed, advanced towards Yamoshi, who, because of Kefla's speed, was not able to dodge the blows being hit by her. Several hits. It was so many hits that Yamoshi's bones were broken, causing Yamoshi to vomit blood. Yamoshi thought, "That blow really hurt. Amazing. To think that I could find Saiyans even stronger than that Broly and that fusion called Gogeta. But this Kefla is another level of strength, and that amuses me a lot," thought the Saiyan excitedly, as he looked at Kefla, who was now doing some jumping around while looking at Yamoshi. Kefla said, "For a god, you are very weak, you know. If you're called the god of Saiyans, then I am now the god of Saiyans too, ha ha!" Kefla spoke before advancing with a blow towards Yamoshi's face, but Kefla ended up being amazed when her fist was stopped by Yamoshi, who had an aura of flames around his body, and in a matter of seconds Yamoshi's hair and eyes turned red. Yamoshi spoke. "A god, you say? Put yourself in your place, you little thing." Yamoshi spoke before punching Kefla's abdomen, making her kneel down, and then Yamoshi glued his foot to the woman's head, making her hit her face on the ground. Yamoshi spoke. "Now you understand your place. A mortal cannot compare to a true god," said the Saiyan while stepping on Kefla's face. On the planet Sadala in Universe 6. Currently in the 6th universe, more precisely on the planet Sadala, the planet of the Saiyans, it was possible to see Yamoshi in his divine form stepping on the face of Kefla, who was transformed into a Super Saiyan. But even with the power, Kefla was not able to get out from under the Yamoshi's foot, and every moment seemed to be increasing the pressure exerted on the Saiyan's face. Kefla thought, "How is this guy so strong? Even though I used fusion and transformed into Super Saiyan, I'm not able to get out from under this guy's foot. And this old man transformation is very similar to the transformation Son Goku used during the Tournament of Power. This must be the transformation of Super Saiyan God," thought Kefla, as her face was being forced to the ground and she wasn't able to leave that place with her current power. Kefla thought, "Since the Tournament of Power, I didn't imagine that I would have to fight using my full power, let alone fusion. But this guy is very strong, so I'm going to use my full power and defeat him, showing that the Saiyans of 6th universe are superior to those of the 7th. Though the woman making her power increase, something that made Yamoshi look at her with interest, and seeing that, he smiled and jumped back, thus letting Kefla free. Yamoshi said, "So you can become even stronger than you are now. Fortunate. I was already thinking that you guys were so weak that you wouldn't make me fight using a small portion of my power," said the Saiyan before reverting to his normal Super Saiyan form, something that confused Kefla. Kefla said, "Why did he go back to his normal Super Saiyan form?" asked the Saiyan to Yamoshi, who just gave a smile. Yamoshi said, "I took the liberty of going back to this form because it is weaker than my divine form, and I'm learning to control this Super Saiyan transformation, and from what I think, it has an evolution, and I'm wanting to learn to use these new transformations that you call Super Saiyan 1 and 2 and so on." Yamoshi said while looking at Kefla, who ended up gaining a look of irritation at the moment. Kefla said, "Are you trying to say that you went back to a weaker form just to face me? Are you calling me weak by any chance?" said the angry woman while looking at Yamoshi, who just laughed at her. Yamoshi said, "I'm not calling you weak. You are weak, and that's an undeniable fact, girl. And for being a merciful god, I'm giving you a chance to face me, and so you have one more chance to fight me." Yamoshi spoke with an arrogant and proud smile, and was wasting all his arrogance like a Saiyan, and like a mighty god that is. Kefla said, "Don't underestimate me, you damn," screaming, the woman raising her power, creating a crater where she was, and with that a large amount of dust rose and surrounded the place, preventing Yamoshi from seeing her. Yamoshi just kept looking at the place where Kefla was before, but soon the Saiyan raises his fist to defend himself from a flying kick made by Kefla that now showed that he had transformed into his Super Saiyan 2 form, something that Yamoshi was happy with to see, because that would be his next step to becoming stronger. Kefla now with her transformation into a Super Saiyan 2 was much stronger than before, and Yamoshi being in her normal Super Saiyan transformation was weaker than before. Kefla taking advantage of the fact that Yamoshi had used a great part of her strength to hold her attack. She took advantage of it and fixed a knee in the side of the Saiyan's face, sending him away. Yamoshi, after receiving such an attack from Kefla, was thrown a few meters away from the girl, who, seeing that Yamoshi would regain her balance, advanced again against Yamoshi, who this time managed to dodge and punch Kefla's left cheek. Now both were close enough to each other, and so they both started an exchange of punches and kicks. Yamoshi was losing because he received more punches than he hit, but with each punch he received, he got more excited. Yamoshi thought, "This is what I want. I want someone to push me to my limits, so I can go beyond them, and this battle is giving me something I really want. So hit me more, Kefla, because the more you hit me, the more you corner me, the stronger I can become, and so during this fight, I can evolve and transform into a Super Saiyan 2. Yamoshi thought as he felt several punches from Kefla hitting him, making him spit blood. But at the same time, he felt his energy growing inside him, wanting to free himself. Kefla, who was beating Yamoshi, was very excited to see Yamoshi's half-deformed face, so the same, already wanting to end it all. She tries to eliminate Yamoshi at that same moment. Kefla punches Yamoshi in the abdomen that looked like it would go through his body, making him vomit a large amount of blood, and then she punched the Saiyan on the chin, making him take his feet off the ground, and fly to the skies where Kefla appeared, and with a smile on her face. Then Kefla made her final attack, joining Kale's green energy and Kefla's red energy, performing an attack, resembling an energy beam, being the same attack she had used against Son Goku, who was using his Ultra Instinct during the Tournament of Power. That was the sky of the planet Sadala shown, and a union of colors being green and red that was caused by Kefla's attack that hit Yamoshi at close range and destroyed almost everything in that place. Kefla, thinking she had finally defeated Yamoshi, she flew towards Cabba, who was in a considerably safe space for him not to die during the combat between her and Yamoshi. Kefla said, "Hey Cabba, it's time to wake up." Kefla said, giving Cabba some light slaps on the face so he would wake up, and it didn't take long for him to wake up. Cabba said, "If I'm still alive and you're still transformed, I'd say the battle is over, and apparently you ended up winning, right Kefla?" asked the Saiyan to Kefla, who just smiled and showed her proud smile. Kefla said, "But of course I won. Did you have any doubts that I would be defeated by that old idiot and showy Yamoshi?" said Kefla, while looking at Cabba, who felt a strange thing looked at a destroyed mountain, and Kefla did the same thing. In the destroyed mountain, it was possible to see that it started to shake, and the stones started to fall, until suddenly an explosion occurs. In that place, destroying some of the stones, generating a lot of dust, and from that same dust it was possible to see Yamoshi leaving with no wounds on his body that had been caused by Kefla. Something that made Cabba and Kefla look confused and annoyed at Yamoshi still being alive. Yamoshi said, "I must admit, you are very strong, and thanks to that I was able to evolve again and reach another level of power. So now behold my new form," said Yamoshi, releasing a large amount of energy, making the whole place feel heavier as the skies turned black and lightning started to fall, creating several craters all over the place. Kefla said, "What the heck is this? This guy's power is increasing even more than before. He's not as strong as he is using his Super Saiyan God transformation, but even so this guy is getting even stronger than he already is." Speaking of that, the woman, as she felt Yamoshi's incredible power increasing at an impressive and incredibly overwhelming speed, Cabba spoke. "From the way his energy is behaving, I would say he's evolving and awakening the power of Super Saiyan 2. Damn, he's already so strong with just the power of the normal Super Saiyan. Imagine him with the power of Super Saiyan 2. He will become a real monster," said the boy while looking at Yamoshi, and then Kefla, and then both Saiyans looked at Yamoshi. Yamoshi, who was still in the same place raising his power, suddenly stops doing that. He looks at Cabba and Kefla, and he gives a big smile before releasing a big blast of energy all over the place. An explosion so big, it could be compared to a nuclear bomb explosion. And luckily Cabba and Kefla, using their ability to fly, managed to get out of the place, and saw the big explosion going to the skies, making the clouds turn black and red. Cabba spoke. "I've never seen so much power released at once. If he did that near the city, all the inhabitants would be killed instantly. So we can't let him get anywhere near the city," said the Saiyan, worried about what could happen if that same explosion happened in the city, and the results it could cause. Yamoshi said, "So you better defeat me fast, or if not, it won't just be the city that will be destroyed, but this whole planet." No, even better. I will destroy all the planets of the 6th universe," said Yamoshi, appearing on the spot, floating over the two Saiyans, who were very angry at what he had just said. Currently still on the planet of Sadala, it was possible to see Kefla next to Cabba, both transformed into Super Saiyan 2, and above them was Yamoshi, who was also transformed into the Super Saiyan 2. He had just learned to transform. Kefla and Cabba, who were facing Yamoshi, were worried about the new level of power that Yamoshi had just gained from unleashing this transformation into a Super Saiyan 2. Kefla said, "What the hell? This guy's power seems to only increase every second, and now with him, he can also transform into Super Saiyan 2, and that only makes him even more dangerous. Besides, he can still turn into Super Saiyan God, and if that happens to both of us, we have no chance of surviving, Cabba," said the woman while looking at her fellow Saiyan, who was beside her in the fighting stance. Cabba said,
I know that, Kefla, but now you're the only one who can face him. I won't be able to face him because I'll just be dead weight for you, the Saiyan said with a little panting as he looked at Kefla and then at Yamoshi. Kefla said, "Don't think that way, Cabba. You're one of the strongest, if not the strongest Saiyan in our universe. And even though Caulifla doesn't want to admit it, she considers you as someone stronger than she is. She's always thought that since the Tournament of Power, you always underestimate yourself, Cabba," said Kefla, putting away her side and revealing that she always thought Cabba was strong. Yamoshi said, "Wow, how exciting. Will you want to use the power of friendship and love to defeat me? Ha ha ha, come fight me soon," said Yamoshi while facing both Saiyans with a certain disgust and little anger while looking at Cabba. Yamoshi said, "Cabba, you said it would be dead weight for her, but your friend revealed that you have a hidden power within you, one that can make you the same level as Kefla, so wake up and use it, because if that doesn't happen, your friends are going to die," said Yamoshi as he looked at Cabba and then immediately threatened to take Kefla's life, who gritted her teeth because of the anger she was feeling towards Yamoshi. Kefla said, "Don't underestimate us, you damn 7th Universe Saiyan! Cabba, let's go together," said the woman while looking at her fellow Saiyan. Cabba said, "Yeah, let's finish this damn thing at once," said the boy, releasing some rays because of his rage against Yamoshi and himself, since he blamed himself for being so weak against that being. Yamoshi thought, "He's angry with me, and it makes the energy inside him get agitated. If I provoke him even more, he will release that energy, and it will make him stronger, and maybe he will gain a new transformation that surpasses the Super Saiyan transformation too. Let's see if he's as strong as I'm thinking," thought the Saiyan as he looked at Cabba, who had a lot of lightning surrounding him. Soon Cabba and Kefla, who were on the ground, took a leap towards Yamoshi, and because of the force created, it ended up destroying the ground, creating a small crater. Yamoshi, seeing such a scene, smiles and advances towards the two Saiyans who were heading towards him. Then quickly the battle between Kefla and Cabba against Yamoshi begins. Cabba, with his various martial arts skills, he started a combo of several strikes and several different types of martial arts. But what Cabba lacked was the strength to affect Yamoshi. Kefla had strength but didn't have the techniques enough, but Yamoshi had both technique and strength. Even though he was 2 against a Yamoshi, he was still superior to the two Saiyans, and for that reason he was easily beating them both. Something that was irritating Cabba and Kefla. But something in that battle was starting to change. Cabba, who had no strength before, was getting faster and stronger, and Kefla, who had no fighting style, was developing little by little. And at the same moment, a style appeared. Kefla and Cabba started to combine their blows, and suddenly ended up landing a blow on Yamoshi, and Kefla had landed a punch on Yamoshi's abdomen, and Cabba had elbowed him in the face. Yamoshi thought, "They're getting stronger than before. The blows that weren't hitting me before are now hitting me, and the blows that I felt pain now I'm feeling. This is getting better," thought the Saiyan while he was dodging and defending himself from Kefla and Cabba's attacks. Yamoshi, who so far was only dodging and defending himself from the blows of both Saiyans, finally decided to fight for real. So he held a fist of each of the Saiyans and pulled him close, where he shot 2 key spheres, one at each one of the Saiyans. Yamoshi, after firing the 2 key attacks at Kefla and Cabba, now quickly looked at one of the Saiyans, being this Kefla, who had recovered from Yamoshi's attack. When looking at the Saiyan, he smiled and looked slightly at Cabba, and in a short time, it advanced towards Kefla. When Yamoshi got close to Kefla, he tried to punch Yamoshi in the face, but because he was too fast, Yamoshi dodged Kefla's punch and punched Kefla's abdomen, followed by several punches in the face of the Saiyan. To finish, Yamoshi kicked Kefla up and then down, which made Kefla hit her face very violently on the ground. Yamoshi said, "I thought you Saiyans from Universe 6 were stronger, but now I realize that you are weak as insects that crawl on the ground, and like an insect, you must kill ourselves by stepping on it until it stops breathing," said Yamoshi before starting to step on Kefla, making her cry out in pain. Cabba, who had finally recovered from Yamoshi's attack, when he saw the scene of Kefla being stepped on by Yamoshi, was filled with anger and advanced towards Yamoshi. But he didn't even care about that and started shooting some key orbs at Cabba, that it was slow to defend itself or dodge Yamoshi's attacks. Yamoshi said, "You are even weaker than this one. It makes me sad to see a Saiyan with great potential being so weak," said the Saiyan while stepping harder on Kefla's body, making her scream even more. Seeing that, Cabba gets even more angry, and Yamoshi realized this. He smiles and he stops stepping on Kefla, but at the time moment he didn't see that Yamoshi grabbed Kefla by the neck and lifted her up and looked at Cabba before starting to speak. Yamoshi said, "I'm wondering something. If I kill her, will you be stronger than before? Will you be able to evolve with her death? How about we test this theory?" said the Saiyan, squeezing Kefla's throat, making her moan in pain. Cabba spoke. "Please don't do this," said the Saiyan, begging for the life of his friend who was losing her life every second. Hearing such words, Yamoshi looked at him with disgust and revulsion, making him squeeze even more tightly, something that made Cabba let some tears come out of his eyes. Yamoshi said, "Saiyans don't cry. Saiyans make it happen. If you want her to live, then come help her and beg for her life. But you're too weak for that, and that's why she's going to die," said the Saiyan, squeezing Kefla's neck much harder than before. And then Kefla, who was struggling to try and escape from Yamoshi, when suddenly all Cabba could hear was a crack, this being the noise of Kefla's neck being broken in that way, killing her. After Yamoshi killed Kefla, the same, with a huge laugh, he releases Kefla's body that before it could fall to the ground, was kicked by Yamoshi, causing her to fall to Cabba's feet. Cabba said, "Kefla, you can't die. Stop pretending you're dead, you idiot," said the Saiyan while crying and shaking Kefla's already dead body, who had now returned to her base form and was still with the fusion. Yamoshi said, "It's not pretending, brat. She's dead, and it's your fault, because you were too weak to stop me," said the Saiyan, approaching Cabba, who had Kefla in his arms. Yamoshi, standing in front of Cabba, raised his hand and prepared a ki attack in his hand to kill Cabba. Yamoshi said, "I could kill you right here and right now, but that wouldn't be fun. So I think I'm going to destroy the rest of the Saiyans in this world. Since you are the strongest, the rest of the Saiyans in this universe shouldn't even tickle me," said the Saiyan, lowering his hand and returning to his base form. And then he began to float and went towards the city of the planet, prepared to destroy all of the Saiyans of the 6th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely on the planet of the God of Destruction, it was possible to see Beerus and Whis sitting at a large table, and in the center of it, there was a sphere made of crystal that was transmitting a video call with Champa and Vados being there respectively, the brother Beerus' twin and Whis' twin. Beerus spoke. "What was Champa?" "We're busy here, so be brief, because we don't have time to waste on your antics," said Beerus to his twin brother, who had a very serious face. Champa said, "I didn't come here to play games with you, Beerus. I want to know why a person from your universe, and what is he doing in Universe 6? The God of Destruction of Universe 6 spoke seriously to his brother, who upon hearing such words found it very strange. Beerus spoke. "What do you mean by that, Champa? I didn't send anyone from my universe to your universe. And what would be the reason for me to do that?" said Beerus, confused, and looked at his brother, and then Vados replied to him. Vados said, "Mr. Beerus, a few days ago in our universe there had been a distortion in reality and space-time. That day, Mr. Champa and I ended up feeling a great power in our universe. And a few hours ago, I managed to discover that the being that came to our universe came from the 7th universe, and that's why we thought you had sent him to our universe," said Universe 6's Anja seriously while looking at her brother and Universe 7 God of Destruction. Whis said, "How could that be possible? It is impossible for someone to travel between two universes without some kind of device that allows them to make such a journey," said the angel while looking at his twin sister, who soon began to speak. Vados said, "In reality, and quite possible, yes, my brother, a few hundred years ago, there was a magician who created a universal travel magic that allowed the individual to open a small gap between two universes. And this magician must have taught this same magic to other mages from other universes. So I would say that someone from your universe who has a very good magic ability knows this magic and used it to create a rift between the 6th and 7th universe. And with that the person came to our universe," said Vados while looking at his brother and the God of Destruction of that universe, both of whom had an expression of concern and confusion at the same time. Beerus said, "Whis, is there any mage with great power to do this magic, to open this passage between the two universes?" asked the God of Destruction to his angel, who then put his hand on his chin in a thoughtful way. Whis said, "No, there is no one who has such great power to do such magic. But there was a wizard a long time ago who had this power. He was called Bibidi, the father of Babidi, and he was responsible for controlling Majin Buu many years ago. But from what Mr. Goku had told me, he died a long time ago. Other than that, I don't think there is another mage with such power to do this," spoke Whis while looking at the god of destruction. Beerus said, "Unless he's not dead, and in fact he's been hiding all these years. Champa, I want to know how this being that appeared in your universe and what he looks like." The god of destruction asked seriously to his twin brother, who had the same expression. Champa said, "I don't know what he looks like, but I know he has great power. So great that it made me shiver. And even though he's not on the same level as a god of destruction, he still has a lot of power in his hands," said Champa while looking at his brother. Beerus said, "Hey Whis, you still haven't found Yamoshi's current whereabouts?" asked Beerus to his angel. Whis said, "No sir, it's been a few days since we've had a location of Yamoshi. His trail has completely disappeared, and I haven't felt any energy from him since that day," said the angel while looking at Beerus. Beerus said, "Firstly, the Yamoshi mysteriously disappeared. Secondly, the rift between two universes has been opened. And thirdly, a warrior strong enough to make a god of destruction afraid appears in the 6th universe. If this isn't a big coincidence, it can only be Yamoshi, who went to Universe 6. The god of destruction spoke, releasing some of his destruction energy while thinking that the being that went to his brother's universe was Yamoshi. Champa said, "Who is this Yamoshi, Beerus?" asked the god of destruction, curious about who Yamoshi was to his brother. Beerus said, "Some time ago, around the time I woke up from my sleep, I had some kind of omen or prediction that a Saiyan warrior who would face me and probably kill me. At the time I thought it was Son Goku, that the Saiyan, but recently I ended up finding out that the real Saiyan who would be able to kill me would be Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to become a god." The god of destruction spoke in a very serious way to his brother, who was amazed by such news. Champa said, "A Saiyan who will kill you? But what does this have to do with my universe? What does this Yamoshi guy want?" spoke Champa in a quick way to his brother, and soon he received the answer by the mouth of Whis. Whis said, "Yamoshi was sealed until recently, but Frieza, in search of a way to defeat the Saiyans, ended up breaking the seal that was imprisoning Yamoshi. And after leaving the seal, he went after the Saiyans who were still alive in search of knowing if they were as strong as him. So he ended up facing Broly, who is the legendary Saiyan of our universe, having the same power as Kale of his universe. And not only that, he also fought against Goku and Vegeta, who made the fusion to help Broly. And the two together not able to defeat Yamoshi, and Broly and Gogeta are as strong or even stronger than Kefla transformed into Super Saiyan 2. Said the angel to his sister and to Champa, making both of them amazed at the monstrous strength from Yamoshi. Whis said, "That said, I think Yamoshi ended up discovering that in Universe 6 there were other Saiyans, and with that he must have gone there to face them. After all, he is considered the god of Saiyans, and as Yamoshi has already tested the strength of Saiyans from Universe 7, Yamoshi must have decided to see the strength of the Saiyans of Universe 6. Whis spoke in a very serious way, because if Yamoshi really is in Universe 6, he would bring a lot of destruction, and possibly the death of some Saiyans of Universe 6. Champa said, "Vados, have you warned Cabba, Kale, and Caulifla to be on red alert for a battle against someone strong at any time?" The god of destruction spoke in a way that was concerned for the strongest Saiyans in his universe, and for all the other Saiyans in Universe 6. Vados said, "Yes sir, and I even gave Potara earrings to Kale and Caulifla. So if things get worse, they will use them and become Kefla. They'll be able to face this threat at any time. And we already have the name. He is Yamoshi, the god of Saiyans of the 7th universe," Vados said as he looked at the god of destruction of his universe. Champa said, "Great. At least if this Yamoshi guy finds them, they will be able to face him. And I hope he wins, even though there is little chance of them coming out as winners," said the god of destruction, soon letting out a heavy sigh. While the conversation between the two gods and the angels of the 6th and 7th universe took place, the battle between the Saiyans of the 6th universe against Yamoshi was taking place, and at that moment the battle had ended with Yamoshi's victory by killing Kefla. And at that moment Vados and Champa had just felt their power. Vados said, "Mr. Champa, you felt it, didn't you?" The woman spoke with a sad look mixed with anger. Champa said, "Yes, I felt it. More than that." The god of destruction spoke, releasing his power of destruction and slamming his mother on the table, destroying her in the process. Beerus spoke. "What happened, Champa?" asked the god of destruction as he looked at his twin brother, who had a very angry expression. Champa said, Kefla's key disappeared, and that means she was killed. That was the fault of this Yamoshi guy. The god of destruction spoke further, releasing his power because of his anger. He soon and Vados ended up feeling something else. Vados said, "Sir Champa, this energy growing is at an unbelievable speed. It can only be from," spoke the woman before being cut by Champa. Champa said, "Cabba, this power can only be his. It means that Kefla's death pushed his rage to the limits, making him go beyond his limits." Champa spoke with a huge smile on his face, as he felt Cabba's energy gradually increase by a large amount of energy. Currently on the planet Sadala, the planet of the Saiyans of the 6th universe, it was possible to see Yamoshi flying towards a large city with the objective of destroying and killing all the Saiyans on that planet. Yamoshi thought, killing a Saiyan who had as much power as that one Kefla was really a waste. Well, I killed a fusion, and when the fusion is over they will separate. Now if they would be alive or not, I don't know, but I know there may be chances high that they're still alive, thought the Saiyan as he walked towards the city at a slow pace. Yamoshi thought, I think I was overestimating that Saiyan. I was thinking that this guy Cabba would get stronger than before, seeing the death of his Saiyan friend. But I was wrong. He just kept crying like a baby, and he still thinks who can be called a Saiyan. Pathetic, thought the Yamoshi, ashamed of being of the same race as a crying Saiyan. With Cabba. While Yamoshi was lost in his thoughts about the destruction of the planet Sadala and all the Saiyans of Universe 6, in a more distant place, Cabba was facing Kefla's body, which was dead. Cabba spoke. Once again, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't help that much during the Tournament of Power. I couldn't become someone strong to make my master proud, and now I couldn't help them in this fight against Yamoshi. Yamoshi is right. I am a disgrace to Saiyans. Cabba said, crying as he looked at Kefla's dead body, and then at the sky, where he started to remember all the times he failed everyone, including himself. Past times. As Cabba lamented all that he couldn't do, and all the times he couldn't fight or stand up, suddenly a memory of his past came up. A conversation between him and his master, Vegeta, after the end of the Tournament of Power. Cabba spoke. Master, you kept your word, said the Saiyan while approaching his master Vegeta. Vegeta said, Of course. I am a Saiyan, and I take my word for it very seriously. Now that our universes are alive, I'll be able to visit the planet Sadala in the future, said the Saiyan while looking at his disciple from another universe. Cabba said, I'll be looking forward to the day, my master, and when that day comes, I will show you the results of my training, said Cabba, extending his fist towards his master. But suddenly, Vegeta punches Cabba in the abdomen, making him fall to his knees. Vegeta said, You are very weak, Cabba. Not even a punch as weak as this you were able to defend or withstand. If that's all you achieved with your training, then it means you didn't train at all. Because the only thing I saw during the Tournament of Power was you being beaten, and only beating the weak, said the Saiyan in an authoritative and firm way while looking at his disciple. Cabba said, 1,000 pardons. I will start an even more rigorous training than before, and someday I will reach a power that not even you could, said the Saiyan, lifting his face and looking at his master. Vegeta said, You will never reach that level while acting like a hero. We are Saiyans and our power comes from our Saiyan instinct, and it is linked to our anger. Never forget that, Cabba. I've noticed that you always try to be calm during battles, but sometimes we have to be guided by our instincts, and when that happens, don't hold back. Release everything at once, and if you do that, you will have a strength that never thought you could have in your entire life, said the Saiyan while looking at Cabba, who was kind of confused by what his master had said, but still understood a little. Vegeta said, And one thing you should never forget is your pride as a Saiyan. Don't cry for everything they do to you, but smile, because your smile will show your enemies that you don't fear them. And don't be afraid of death, and that will make them afraid of you and your strength. That is the true essence of a Saiyan, said the Saiyan while looking at his disciple, who had gained stars in his eyes because of his master's words. Cabba said, Yes, master. I promise I will not disappoint you in the future. I will become a very strong Saiyan, and I can be proud of my own strength, and someday I'll be strong enough to defeat you," spoke Cabba, determined to overcome his master's strength. Vegeta said, "I'll be waiting for that day, Cabba. So until that day, train and become a true Saiyan," spoke Vegeta, proud of his disciple. Now back in the current time, back to reality, it was possible to see Cabba still looking at the sky, still crying, but suddenly he stops crying and starts laughing. Soon he begins to remember everything that made him angry, and he wanted to defeat it. Yamoshi with his hands, Kefla's death, the imminent destruction of his planet, and the extinction of his entire race was approaching. When remembering all this, Cabba starts screaming, a scream formed by all his anger, accumulated for a long time. So much anger made him turn into a normal Super Saiyan, and in a few seconds he turned into Super Saiyan 2. But even so, Cabba didn't stop screaming and kept releasing his power. And when he looked again at his dead friend Kefla, that was the final point. Cabba gave a kind of bestial scream, similar to one of an Ozaru. Cabba generated a huge blast of energy that was taken to the skies, causing the entire climate of the planet to change, creating a huge storm of very violent lightning. Now with Yamoshi, a few kilometers from where Cabba was, it was possible to see Yamoshi now floating over the Saiyan city. Yamoshi was judging the strength of those Saiyans as he watched them from above. Yamoshi said, "Pathetic. Apart from those 3 Saiyans, the others barely reach 100,000 power. Not even all the Saiyans here together creating a super attack would make me feel any pain. Maybe a mosquito bite at most. If I had known this before, I wouldn't have killed that Saiyan. I should have killed the other one and made her explode in fury, increasing her power even more," said Yamoshi with a little regret, remembering that he killed Kefla, who was really strong. Yamoshi said, "Well, whatever now. It's about time these Saiyans disappeared at once, as I refuse that these beings share the same race as me," said Yamoshi, raising his hand and starting to generate a key sphere in his hands. But before Yamoshi finished generating his attack and playing against the city, he ended up feeling an enormous power appearing in the place where he had previously faced the Saiyans that he considered to be truly strong. Yamoshi said, "What is that?" said the Saiyan, soon shooting the key sphere that was in his hand to another place other than the city. And he launched his key attack. It ended up destroying a mountain closer to the city. Yamoshi started to look at that place from afar and saw the energy was coming from a Saiyan. He was amazed when a huge explosion of energy happened, making the sky glow golden, and then the sky began to generate golden clouds that began to surround the explosion site that had created a pillar of golden energy. An energy that soon Yamoshi could identify whose it was, making him smile at the same time. Yamoshi said, "This power, I remember it. And I remember when I used the ritual to have it, and that brat got this power all by himself. I was right in thinking he had so much potential. Finally, I can face someone who has the power of a Super Saiyan God," said the Saiyan while looking at the pillar of golden energy that was slowly disappearing. Yamoshi said, "There are 2 ways to conquer the Super Saiyan God form. The first by doing the Saiyan rituals, and the second is by facing someone with divine power. I forced Cabba to unleash his divine power with Saiyan cells, and this kid really managed to become a god the hard way," said the Saiyajin, very excited about the possibility of facing someone who has the same power as him. While Yamoshi was happy to know that he would face someone who has the divine power like him, he didn't even notice when a red lightning came towards him at high speed. And when he realized it, it was too late, because he ended up receiving a blow in his jaw, breaking it immediately, and causing the Saiyan to fly for several kilometers away from the city. Something that made Yamoshi cross several mountains in sequence, until he created a crater when he fell in a place far away from the Saiyan city. Yamoshi thought, "What the fuck is this? I know that the divine form gives a huge increase in power and physical attributes to the warrior who uses it, but that was already completed ridiculously strong," thought the Saiyan, trying to get out of the crater, because all the bones in his body were broken and his jaw had been completely broken. Quickly, Yamoshi comes out of the crater and looks in front of him, and there he sees Cabba, standing with red hair and eyes with an aura of intense flames around him. Being that the divine form of the Saiyans, and he had a very different look from before. Cabba said, "I hope your regeneration is very fast, as I will break every bone in your body, and after they regenerate, I will break your bones again," said the Saiyan in an arrogant and proud way. Before Yamoshi could say anything, Cabba punched the air that ended up creating an impact wave so strong that it threw Yamoshi against a mountain in such a way that the mountains around it were completely destroyed. Cabba said, "Yamoshi, today will be the day that the god of the Saiyans will have its definitive end. Today will be the day of its death by my hands," spoke Cabba, clenching his fist and yelling at Yamoshi, who even being in such a broken state gave him a smile, with Champa and Beerus. Currently on the planet of the God of Destruction of the 6th universe, it was possible to see Champa in his chair, still talking to his brother Beerus through a video call, and the current God of Destruction of the 6th universe was with his concentration turned to the planet Sadala, where the battle between Cabba and Yamoshi was taking place. Beerus said, "Champa, what is happening in his universe, and why am I able to feel a divine aura emanating from his universe? But any chance, did Yamoshi turn into Super Saiyan God, and is that the energy of his?" Universe 7 God of Destruction asked his twin brother, who broke into a wide smile before talking to his brother. Champa said, "Amazing. Is his power so great that even in another universe you can feel his power and not Beerus? This divine power is not being emanated by Yamoshi, but by my Saiyan, the Cabba," said the God of Destruction with a huge smile on his face, a smile of pure satisfaction to know that the Saiyan of his world is so strong that even in another universe it was possible to feel him. Beerus said, "Cabba, are you talking about that skinny kid Vegeta decided to train in that tournament of ours and also participated in the tournament of power? This divine power is his?" Universe 7's God of Destruction spoke while looking in disbelief at his twin brother. Vados said, "That's right, Sir Beerus. The power you are feeling now is Cabba's power. And just by feeling this power, I would say that Cabba managed to transform into a Super Saiyan God, just like Goku, Vegeta, and Yamoshi." Universe 6's Anja spoke to Beerus, who was even more surprised. Whis said, "Cabba really is powerful for being able to transform into a Super Saiyan God without the need for the ritual to transform into a god. It's really amazing," said the surprised angel to his sister, something that left the two gods of destruction confused with Whis' words. Beerus spoke, "What do you mean, Whis? Cabba managed to become a Super Saiyan God without the need for the ritual. I thought this was impossible, and the only way for a Saiyan to become a god was through the ritual," said the God of Destruction, confused as he looked at his angel. Whis said, "I kind of figured out that ritual isn't the only way for the Saiyan to become a god. Apparently, Saiyans can become gods through ritual or fighting a god, and through combat, they kind of end up getting in contact with divine energy, and it causes them to transform into their divine forms, and that must have been what happened to Cabba." Whis explains to the two gods of destruction, who now understood why Cabba had gained a giant increase in his powers with your new transformation. Champa spoke, "Did you hear that, Beerus? My Saiyan ended up turning into a god without having to do a ritual like Goku, and that just shows that my Saiyans have much more potential than yours. And in a short time they will overcome Goku and Vegeta, and that Broly guy that will also be defeated by my Saiyans." The God of Destruction spoke, bragging about the strength of his Saiyans that he faithfully believed would someday surpass the Saiyans of his brother Beerus' universe. Beerus said, "Don't count on it, Champa. My Saiyans right now are training to defeat Yamoshi. Even though your Saiyan has great power now, she still won't be able to face Yamoshi, because Yamoshi was just joking in all his fights, and it was few times that he fought seriously. And you need to know that Yamoshi at this very moment doesn't. He's fighting with his 100% power. Even though he says he is fighting seriously, he really is not." Universe 7 God of Destruction spoke with a very serious expression as he looked at his brother, who was quite surprised as he looked at Vados. Champa said, "So that damn Yamoshi has more power? More than shit!" Vados, prepare to bring Cabba, Caulifla, and Kale. In fact, go immediately to planet Sadala and bring Kefla's body. I haven't felt her energy and it's been a while, and that means she is dead. And this must be one of the triggers that made Cabba transform into Super Saiyan God for the first time," ordered the God of Destruction to his Anja. Vados spoke, "Yes, Sir Champa, I will go as ordered immediately. Due to the current circumstances, I will have to go after Cabba, because Caulifla and Kale had to be close to Cabba, so I'm already leaving. And from now on, I will say goodbye to you too. Until another day, Mr. Beerus, and until our reunion, my brother Whis," said Vados, soon bowing to Champa and quickly doing the same to Beerus, who was watching the two of them. Whis said, "I say the same, my sister. Go and help your Saiyans, and don't try to face Yamoshi, because I think he had a way to defeat us, the angels, or make us weak. So don't face him. Do you understand, sister? Whis spoke to his sister in a way worried about his sister's well-being, and mainly because he didn't know what Yamoshi was capable of, because Whis felt that Yamoshi could defeat an angel somehow. Vados said, "So you also felt this strange feeling towards him. I felt it the moment you revealed his name, but even knowing all this, you shouldn't worry, my brother. I know how to defend myself, and I won't be defeated by a Saiyan like this Yamoshi. Now I must go after my universe's trio of Saiyans, so I say goodbye." Vados said to his brother, calming him down and then saying goodbye to everyone, and then disappearing into a small pillar of light that had a mixture of colors of violet and light blue. Champa said, "Beerus, you already know that even if Cabba uses all this new power, he won't be strong enough to defeat Yamoshi, right?" asked the god of destruction while looking at his twin brother. Beerus said, "I'm sure of it, Champa, but maybe Cabba is strong enough to hurt Yamoshi, and make him fight for real. Don't get me wrong, Champa, but I wish Cabba makes Yamoshi fight seriously so that we can get a sense of what his true strength is like." The god of destruction spoke to his brother, and then the two of them heaved a heavy sigh. Whis said, "Sir Champa, I recommend that after you bring Cabba, Caulifla, and Kale, you two train them, so that when Yamoshi is unprepared, we will make a final attack using the power of all Saiyans of Universe 6 and 7 against Yamoshi. All the strongest Saiyans against the one who was the first to reach the rank of Super Saiyan God," said the angel, leaving the two gods of destruction surprised by the plan Whis had created. Champa said, "While you Beerus train your Saiyans, I will train my Saiyans. But the question at hand is, while we do that, what will Yamoshi do during this time?" asked the god of destruction while looking at his brother Whis. Beerus said, "He won't be doing nothing for a long time. If he gets bored and comes to try to do something against one of our universes, you and I will face him, and that way we'll buy time for our Saiyans to evolve. And whether they like it or not, I know that we won't be the winners, because the god of Saiyans can only be defeated by another Saiyan." Beerus spoke in an extremely serious tone, while looking at his brother, who had a similar expression to his. Champa said, "I would like to say that you are exaggerating, Beerus, but I know this is the purest truth, and it makes me very angry. A mortal making two gods of destruction unite to face him, and still not being strong enough to defeat him." Whis, when Vados comes back, contact her and let her know about it. Meanwhile, I'll keep an eye on Yamoshi, ensuring he doesn't leave my universe. And if he tries to leave, I'll let you know immediately, so that Whis and Vados close the portal and trapping the Yamoshi between the two universes with me and Beerus, because there we can fight seriously without ending up affecting the other universes," Champa said while looking at his brother, and then at the angel next to him, while nodded positively to Universe 6's god of destruction. Now on planet Sadala. Currently on the planet Sadala, where the Saiyans of the 6th universe inhabited, it was possible to see Cabba with his Super Saiyan God form, looking at Yamoshi, who had his injuries being healed at high speed due to the regeneration abilities, and he was in his base form with none of the transformations active until that time. Yamoshi said, "Did you say that today would be the end of me? Will you be the one to defeat me and prove that the Saiyans in your universe are superior? And will you be the one to defeat the first Saiyan turned God?" Yamoshi spoke as he stood up and his wounds disappeared, and if you listened carefully, you could hear his bones returning to normal as he completely regenerated. Yamoshi said, "I must say you surprised me, boy. Transforming into a god, just by feeling and absorbing divine energy, is something that is almost impossible to achieve, and that must be why your power has increased so greatly. That would be worrying for you. Me? But the stronger my opponent, the better things get for me. So let me see if you have all the power it takes to fight me for real. Show me the power of the one who said he would defeat the Saiyan legend. Show me everything you said wasn't just a bluff," said Yamoshi as he finished getting up on his face. He had a very big and wide smile, showing how excited the Saiyan was with the battle. Cabba spoke, "Do you want me to show you my power? Don't worry, I'll do it. But you won't like it too much, because I'll end up killing you. Dying in combat is something all of us Saiyans want. This is honorable, something you don't deserve, but you will have it today. That will be the end of you," said the Saiyan, soon making his divine aura slightly more intense, but it was enough to create a small crater around the place where he was. Yamoshi said, "Great, we've been talking for a while now, so it's time for our fist to speak for us. said the Saiyan, soon raising his power and transforming into Super Saiyan 1. Even raising his power, Cabba didn't feel fear or chills like he had the first time. Yamoshi, after transforming and realizing that Cabba hasn't been afraid of the power increase or his transformation into Super Saiyan 1 as had happened before, this only made Yamoshi even happier, as fearful opponents made him bored, but brave opponents and without fear were perfect opponents for him. Yamoshi had a feeling of happiness knowing that Cabba possessed great power and was not afraid. He advanced towards Cabba, who didn't even move at the sight of Yamoshi's movements. Soon after Yamoshi appeared in front of Cabba, he tried to punch the Saiyan, and Yamoshi ended up hitting Cabba in the face. But the detail was that his fist went through Cabba's face, because in the same second, Cabba disappeared, and when Yamoshi turned, he saw Cabba, thus staring from a few feet away. Yamoshi thought, "What incredible speed." At the same moment I tried to punch him, he moved so fast that it created an illusionary image, and that's what I hit. In reality, Cabba wasn't in that place anymore. The Saiyan thought, impressed by Cabba's speed, because of creating a delayed image that showed how fast Cabba was, as fast as light or higher. Cabba, who just looked at Yamoshi until that moment, Cabba decided to make his move. Then the Saiyan puts himself in a posture similar to that of a boxer and punches the air. Yamoshi, seeing this, found it strange until he felt something approaching him, making him jump to the side. But it was too late. Yamoshi ended up feeling something hitting his arm and breaking it completely at the same moment. Cabba said, "Looks like one of the skills I asked Mr. Hit to teach me was worth it. Even though I don't really like using his assassin skills, they were very useful to kill you, Yamoshi," said the Saiyan with an empty expression, but still conveying anger, hatred, repulsion, disgust of Yamoshi, who got angry with that. Yamoshi said, "You caught me off guard this time, brat. Don't think too much, because this time it was pure luck, and you won't be that lucky again," said Yamoshi as he held his injured arm, which in a matter of seconds completely regenerated, causing his arm bones to return to normal and his muscles to rebuild. Cabba said, "Lucky? Let's see if that's true. Because the only truth is that you're too slow for someone who considers himself a god," spoke Cabba, snubbing Yamoshi's slowness. Because of Cabba's words, Yamoshi charged at Cabba, who once again stood still, and Yamoshi started attacking Cabba with several punches and kicks, in addition to firing some ki blasts. But none of this was effective against Cabba, who didn't take any damage, as Yamoshi hadn't even landed a hit on Cabba. Yamoshi, seeing that he wasn't fast enough to reach Cabba, Yamoshi backed away a little and raised his power, transforming into a Super Saiyan 2, and advanced once again towards Cabba. But even with that strength, Yamoshi was not able to hit Cabba, until Yamoshi, in an increase of anger, managed to punch Cabba very hard. But after Cabba received the attack, he just turned his face to the same place where Yamoshi's fist was seen. Yamoshi tries to get away from Cabba, but the same punches Yamoshi in the stomach, creating a hole in his stomach with such force that Cabba punches it, and then Yamoshi falls into the ground in a matter of seconds. Cabba said, "Sorry, I think I used too much force in that attack. I wanted to just throw you away with my punch, but I ended up creating a hole in your stomach. So 1,000 pardons, great Yamoshi, the god of Saiyans." Cabba spoke clearly with a mocking tone in his voice, something that annoyed Yamoshi a lot, who was on the floor with a hole in his stomach, which started to regenerate and close the hole in his stomach. Yamoshi said, "Does an insect like you really think he can despise me?" talking with that mocking tone in his voice. "I'm Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to become a god, and I'm the strongest Saiyan between Universe 6 and Universe 7, and I won't be killed by a brat like you," said Yamoshi as he raised his energy, turning his body into gold, turning into a burning aura. Meanwhile, his stomach regenerated faster. Yamoshi said, "You little shit. Do you really think someone like you can defeat me? I will show you why I am the true and only god of Saiyans," said the Saiyan, releasing his power, causing a large amount of divine energy to be released, and his stomach with all this energy release ended up regenerating completely. At that moment, Yamoshi had turned into a Super Saiyan god, making his hair turn red, and his eyes red in a darker tone, and in front of him was Cabba with a similar appearance. But Cabba had an aura of lighter flames, and his hair and eyes were brighter than Yamoshi's, which were a blue hue. Yamoshi said, Let's see if now, with me, fighting more seriously, you will continue with your fucking arrogance," said Yamoshi, making his eyes sparkle, and soon both Saiyans released a large amount of energy that ended up destroying everything around them. Something that made Cabba worry about the Saiyans of his planet Sadala. Cabba thought, if he and I fight on this planet, it will be destroyed only by the energy of both of us, and that will end up killing all the inhabitants. So I have to take him as far away from this planet as possible. And with that I can fight without worrying. With the planet Sadala or with its inhabitants, thought the Saiyan as he saw the result of the clash of Yamoshi and Cabba's energies. Yamoshi without further ado enters the combat stance, but something left him very confused when Cabba started to fly away from that place, and going out of the planet, watching that Yamoshi was confused and at the same time angry, and by that impulse he took it and flew towards Cabba. And soon all the Saiyans of the planet Sadala saw only 2 light red sunbeams and another dark one coming out of the planet. And it didn't take long for Cabba to arrive in the middle of space to find a planet far away from the planet Sadala, and that didn't have any living being living there. And on that planet, Cabba landed and looked forward to where Yamoshi was, who ended up landing on this planet too. And they both started to face each other, and soon the battle was started between the Super Saiyan God of Universe 6 and the Super Saiyan God of Universe 7. In Universe 7, currently in a place far away from planet Earth, it was possible to see a very large planet, and in it was possible to see several craters of destruction that was caused by a very intense battle between Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, who were facing each other as a form of training. Goku was using his Super Saiyan Blue transformation with Kaioken 10X, Vegeta was using his Super Saiyan Blue Shinka form, and Broly was using his newly mastered Super Saiyan 2 transformation. The battle between the 3 Saiyans was very intense, because in the place where they were training, a trail of destruction was left, and all this training they were doing was to overcome the power of Yamoshi. Broly, now possessing his new Super Saiyan 2 transformation, was stronger than ever, being able to take on Goku and Vegeta at the same time, and was able to hold off almost all of the 2 Saiyans' attacks. But soon the trio's training is over when Whis and Beerus appear on the scene, and Whis slams his staff on the ground, attracting the attention of the 3 Saiyans in the place. Whis says, "I believe you've trained enough for now, but now all of you come here. Mr. Beerus and I need to talk to all 3 of you." The angel spoke in a more serious tone, and soon the 3 Saiyans returned to their normal form and stood in front of Whis and Beerus. Vegeta said, "What is it, Whis? Is it something important to you that you got in the way of our training? Even more so now that we were getting somewhere with our training," said the Prince of the Saiyans to the angel, but Beerus soon replied, "Yes, that's very important. We've been wondering where Yamoshi was the whole time, and we finally managed to find out where the bastard is," said the God of Destruction while looking seriously at Vegeta. Goku said, "And where is he? And why did he disappear so suddenly? I thought he wanted to defeat us, Saiyans, but he suddenly disappeared without leaving any trace of his energy," said the Saiyan, curious to know where Yamoshi was during the whole time they were recovering and training. Whis said, "At the time we were looking for Yamoshi, he managed to find a way to invade another universe, and to be more precise, he's currently in Universe 6, said the angel, leaving everyone surprised, except Vegeta, who ended up getting angry with Yamoshi. Vegeta said, "What do you mean Yamoshi is in Universe 6? If he's there, that means he's going to..." Beerus says, "That's right, Vegeta. He went after the Saiyans of the 6th universe. In fact, at this very moment, he must be fighting Cabba." The God of Destruction spoke to the 3 Saiyans on the spot. Such words made Vegeta even more angry, and at the same time worried about his disciple. Vegeta said, "Cabba is fighting Yamoshi. That idiot will die if he fights him. I don't know, maybe even if Kefla couldn't defeat him. Yamoshi, imagine Cabba. He's strong, but Yamoshi is a monster compared to him," said the Saiyan while thinking about his disciple's life that could die in the hands of Yamoshi, something that made Vegeta feel a rage that he hadn't felt in a long time. Goku said, "Maybe if Caulifla and Kale merge and Kefla and Cabba fight together, they'll be able to escape the battle. Even though I know their strength, I don't think they're strong enough to defeat Yamoshi. After all, not even me and Vegeta couldn't. And look, even though we were merged and we had great power in our hands, and even so, we lost ourselves to Yamoshi," said the Saiyan, putting some points in the conversation. Some points that made it clear that the only thing that the Saiyans of Universe 6 could do was run away. Broly, who until that moment was just listening to the conversation, but he realized that when he said Kefla, Beerus and Whis' name, they gained a more serious and sad expression at the same time. Broly said, "Why did you two get more serious when saying the name of this Kefla person?" asked the legendary Saiyan to Beerus and Whis, thus making Goku and Vegeta look at them waiting for an answer that soon came from Beerus' mouth, before letting out a heavy sigh. Goku said, "Sir Beerus, what happened to Kefla?" asked the Saiyan to the God of Destruction, who just lowered his head before lifting her up and starting to speak. Beerus said, "Caulifla, Kale, and Cabba ended up meeting with Yamoshi, and they had to fight. Caulifla and Kale couldn't face Yamoshi and even merged to become Kefla. During the fight, Yamoshi ended up killing Kefla, breaking her neck, and killing it. It's over there." The God of Destruction spoke in a more serious tone. Goku said, "Does that mean Kale and Caulifla are dead? More than shit," said the Saiyan angrily when remembering the two Saiyans from Universe 6, where he fought her in the Tournament of Power. Vegeta said, "If Kefla was killed, does that mean Cabba died too?" asked the Saiyan when he looked desperately at Whis and Beerus. And before they could answer, Vegeta ends up releasing some energy from destruction, making everyone move away from him. Vegeta, even always looking like someone cold and who doesn't care about anyone, he did have a kind of instinct to protect who he likes, and even though he didn't show, he liked Cabba when he learned that Kefla had been killed by Yamoshi, made the Saiyan imagine the scene of Yamoshi going through Cabba's chest while his disciple was asking him for help. And such an image made Vegeta reach the peak of fury, causing a large amount of energy of destruction to come out of his body. And after all that energy release, it was possible to see Vegeta completely different, with an aura similar to Super Saiyan Blue, only with another color, and his hair and eyes also changed to purple, with a violet tone. That being Vegeta's new transformation, in the form of a Saiyan, who has the power of a God of Destruction. Vegeta had just become Universe 7's next God of Destruction in the eyes of Beerus and Whis. Beerus thought, "So, he finally made it. Vegeta has finally managed to unleash the power of a Hakaishin," thought Beerus with a smile on his face as he looked at Vegeta's new transformation. Back in Universe 6 with Cabba and Yamoshi. Currently in the 6th universe on a very distant and lifeless planet, it was possible to see Yamoshi and Cabba with their divine forms. Exchanging several punches and kicks, and the previously intact planet was now almost being destroyed completely due to the powerful blows of the two Saiyans. Yamoshi, who was now facing Cabba, both were facing each other with a giant intensity, both of which were well injured, but Cabba was one of the most injured, different from Yamoshi as he had a good regeneration. Yamoshi thought, "This guy is very strong, but I'm feeling his divine power waning, so I think it's time for me to use that," thought the Saiyan with a smile on his face. In a quick movement, Yamoshi manages to punch Cabba, and then a kick throws him away, and then Yamoshi starts gathering energy in his eyes. Cabba, after recovering from Yamoshi's attack, he advances towards Yamoshi, and Cabba, without realizing that Yamoshi was gathering energy in his eyes, approached Yamoshi. When Cabba realized what was happening, it was too late. Yamoshi said, "This battle ends here. Eyes of extinction," Yamoshi yells, releasing a gigantic energy charge from his eyes. The attack was of a planetary scale, and in this way the planet they were on ended up being completely destroyed. And not only him, but 5 other planets that were in that solar system. Yamoshi said, "That was an amazing battle, really, and I would like to face him again, but I don't think he survived that attack. Anyway, promise is a promise. It was a good battle, and for that I will not destroy the planet Sadala, and I hope that in a few centuries, someone like him will be born," said Yamoshi, returning to his normal form, and then putting on his bracelet, returning to his older appearance, and soon he started to wander around the universe. In another location, it was possible to see Cabba floating with his body surrounded by divine energy, which was responsible for preventing Cabba's death, and who protected Cabba with this energy was Vados, who was in front of him. Vados said, "That was almost. Looks like I'm going to have to train you to master your divine Cabba power, and we should start this training soon. But first I'll bring those two back to life," said the Anja, soon removing Caulifla and Kale's bodies from inside her staff that were still dead.
moments before the Tuffle deity appears. Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to achieve the power of a divinity after thousands of years, finally ended up returning to life, and his return shook the entire 7th universe that did not expect the return of the first Super Saiyan God. Yamoshi, even though he was a Saiyan and a true legend for his race, he had no empathy for them, because in his eyes, the Saiyans were just shadows of the real Saiyans who lived in his time. And because of that, Yamoshi decided to go after each one of them to face them and thus test the power level of the Saiyans. And if they were approved, they could live to become stronger in the future and give Yamoshi an even better fight. Yamoshi, using his strength, was capable of great feats such as facing Goku and Vegeta together, and even though the two used their powers to the maximum, the two Saiyans did not even manage to make Yamoshi use his full power, which demonstrated a great difference between the power of the god Super Saiyan of the past and Saiyans who possessed the power of a deity. Yamoshi proved to be a very big threat to all beings in the 7th universe, and even Beerus felt that he could be defeated by the legend of the past who was now back to life, and this proved to be very true when Yamoshi ended up facing Broly in his power total. And as if it wasn't enough, Goku and Vegeta ended up entering that battle where they both ended up losing again, but seeing that they weren't strong enough, Goku and Vegeta did the fusion dance, becoming Gogeta in his full power, and Broly faced Yamoshi. But even the strongest Saiyans in the 7th universe were not able to face and defeat Yamoshi, showing everyone that his power was far above standards. Yamoshi could very well end the lives of those 3 Saiyans, but he didn't do that because he liked them and knew that the 3 Saiyans would get stronger, and that made Yamoshi leave them alive, because if it weren't for that, Goku, Vegeta and Broly would have been killed. Yamoshi saw that everyone was after him and that the Saiyans from the 7th universe were not that strong. Yamoshi went to the 6th universe to be able to go after the Saiyans from that universe, and with that he ended up facing the strongest Saiyans from the 6th universe, who in this case they were Kefla, Kale and Cabba. During the battle between Yamoshi, Kefla and Kale, the two Saiyans ended up using the Potara earrings to merge, becoming Kefla, but even with the fusion powers, Kefla was not strong enough to face Yamoshi, and Yamoshi had no mercy on her, different from Goku, Vegeta and Broly, and with that, Kefla ended up losing her life at the hands of Yamoshi, causing Kefla and Kale to die in the process. Cabba, who was seeing all that, went into a state of fury and then awakened the power of Super Saiyan God, which made Yamoshi excited to see the awakening of Cabba's divine powers, which could be even greater than the divine energies of Goku and Vegeta. But even using his full power, Cabba was unable to defeat Yamoshi and ended up being defeated and killed by one of Yamoshi's attacks. Luckily for Cabba, Vados, the angel from the 6th universe, saved him from death, removing him from that local. Yamoshi was an honorable warrior, and that's why he decided not to destroy all the Saiyans who were on the planet Sadala. Yamoshi made this promise to Cabba that if they faced each other out of honor, Yamoshi would not eliminate all the Saiyans who were in the 6th universe. These Saiyans were very weak in Yamoshi's point of view, and as such were not a threat to him. Guys, before continuing this epic story, leave your like, and of course if you want to help the channel even more, be a member of the channel and help the channel financially, and of course subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any news. Once that's done, let's continue the story. Moment somewhere in the 6th universe. On a planet located on the edges of the 6th universe and the 7th universe, it was possible to see Yamoshi, who was in his older form sitting on a fallen tree. Yamoshi was looking at the horizon and he was strangely sweaty. Yamoshi said, "I didn't think I would have to fight so seriously against that boy called Cabba. No, I shouldn't call him a boy. He is a warrior who fought protecting his people and provided me with a very entertaining battle, something I needed. And it was even surprising that I decided to use that attack of mine myself. It had been a while since I used a large-scale attack like that, but I admit that I enjoyed doing it. After all, a true warrior like Cabba deserved to receive an attack like that." Yamoshi spoke to himself as he remembered his battle against Cabba and was excited and satisfied when he remembered the feeling of fighting for real again after so many years. Yamoshi said, "This is very strange. Since the moment I used the Eyes of Extinction, I felt a little different. It's like something was inside me and wanted to break free or something similar to that. Besides, I'm also sweating a lot and I feel my energy slowly running out, but the temperature on this planet isn't very high compared to others, and I'm not even using my Kai because I'm hiding from the angels and the gods of destruction, who must be behind me right now. I just hope I'm not found while I'm in this state, or else I would be easily defeated by them. If that happened, it would be a bad way to go to the world of the dead. If I'm going to die, let it be fighting with everything I have." said Yamoshi, as he was a little irritated because he was slowly getting weaker, and Yamoshi at least knew the reason for that. Yamoshi said, I think it's better to try to use my divine energy little by little to cure my discomfort, but use little energy so that no one can track me, otherwise I will have a lot of problems, and even if it takes a while it will be better than being tracked and me having to fight in this state I'm in, said Yamoshi, who got up and went to a flatter area in the middle of a forest. And when he got there, Yamoshi sat down on the ground and began to concentrate his energy on his body to heal himself from that state he was in. Hours passed from the moment Yamoshi started to heal from that bad feeling, and after all this time he finally managed to heal himself. And with that, Yamoshi got up and looked around and saw that there were some natives in a corner staring at him, and among these natives there was one in question that was quite large and started to approach Yamoshi, which made him sigh as he was now tired from having used his energy for so long in a row. Yamoshi said, just because I'm weaker and a little tired doesn't mean I'll be defeated by a weak worm like you, so come upstairs so I can eliminate you, because honestly you are not Saiyans, and as such I do not wish to face you. You failures, Yamoshi said, irritated at being tired and a little weaker than normal. The native, when approaching Yamoshi, tried to hit him with a hammer punch with both hands together, but using only one of his fingers, the legendary Saiyan held back the native's blow, and with the tip of one of his fingers, Yamoshi fired an attack, key that eliminated that native. Seeing the strongest falling dead at Yamoshi's feet, the other natives began to run for their lives, but Yamoshi eliminated each one of them using his key attack simply because he wanted to take out some of his frustration on other people. Yamoshi said, smashing insects is always fun and even relaxing sometimes, but I don't feel like destroying the rest of the civilization on this planet. For now at least, said Yamoshi with a short smile. Mysterious voice said, it seems that you haven't changed anything in the last few years, and even though you have been sealed for so long you haven't changed anything. That is if you are not worse than in the past. Spoke a mysterious voice that strangely made Yamoshi feel uncomfortable and look around in search of the owner of that voice. Yamoshi said, who are you and where are you? Yamoshi asked, already on guard, ready for a possible fight with the owner of that mysterious voice. Mysterious voice spoke, how long has it been, Yamoshi? Don't tell me you forgot your old friend, asked the mysterious voice. Yamoshi looked down and saw a being made of some purple metallic material with a big evil smile on his face. And even though he didn't recognize him, Yamoshi's instincts kept him on guard because he knew that such a being was dangerous. Currently in the 6th universe, more precisely on a planet located on the margins of the 6th universe, it was possible to see that in the forest Yamoshi faced a gelatinous being that had a body that resembled some molten material like iron, but of a different color. The being, it was exuding a very dark and evil aura similar to Yamoshi's aura. Yamoshi looked at that gelatinous being with a certain fear. He didn't know why, but that being made Yamoshi uneasy, and that was strange for someone like Yamoshi, and that left him intrigued and with a certain suspicion about that gelatinous being in front of him. Yamoshi said, I have no idea who you are or what you are, but from your words you must know me, and since I don't know you, I would say that you must already know what I was in the past, and apparently you must be pretty old to know me, said Yamoshi, keeping his distance from that being who appeared to have bad intentions towards him, something that Yamoshi did not believe this being would have the courage to do. Gelatinous being spoke, can you really not remember me? I'm even sad that you don't remember one of your best friends from the past, a past where we were both strong, where we were feared and at the same time respected by many because of our strength and our powers. Spoke the gelatinous being as he gradually approached the Saiyan, who remained still trying to understand or remember what that being was saying. Yamoshi said, I admit that my memory has been a little messed up since the day I released myself from my ceiling, but I'm sure I've never seen or met any being similar to you. But don't feel bad, I usually don't remember the names of the insects that I have come across or eliminated in the past or present, said Yamoshi in an arrogant tone towards the gelatinous being that scowled at him when he was called an insect. Gelatinous being said, the only insects that exist in the universe are the Saiyans, who are now practically extinct, at least in the 7th universe. The gelatinous being spoke to Yamoshi, who was irritated because of the words of that being that in Yamoshi's eyes was insignificant, and even though his instincts told him he was dangerous, the Saiyan was no longer believing them because he didn't understand how a being whose appearance appeared to be so weak it would be a threat to Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, for a being as insignificant as you to say that, my species must be in really bad shape. But even so, we are still superior to an insect like you, said Yamoshi in an arrogant tone, followed by a laugh, which which made the gelatinous being smile when he saw that he was being underestimated by the Saiyan. Being gelatinous thought, "You're still the same as always, Yamoshi, and that's exactly what I wanted. Be even more arrogant and let your guard down, because when you do, you will remember who I am and that you should have followed your warrior instincts." The gelatinous being thought while a big evil smile remained on his face. Yamoshi said, "I was curious about why you seem so familiar and why I haven't destroyed you until now, but I think it was all in my head and you are useless to me. So go meet your maker," said Yamoshi before firing some key spheres at that gelatinous being whose body was exploded by Yamoshi's energy attacks, who smiled when he saw the body of that being spread across the place. Yamoshi said, "It's a shame. I thought that. Because he knew me, he would at least be able to withstand one of my attacks, but he couldn't even handle that. I was also expecting too much from a gelatinous being like him, but I'm still curious why I felt so strange in the presence of this being. Maybe I met him in the past or a member of his race who was strong and my instincts must have alerted me. But this time, they made a big mistake," said Yamoshi, disappointed with the weakness of that being that ended up leaving him on his guard, something that irritated him. After all, that being was nothing compared to him. Yamoshi thought, "Now that I noticed, I'm not feeling worse than before. Now my body is completing normal, but I feel something inside me telling me that something important that was inside my body is no longer there, and this could be dangerous for me. No, that must be in my head. That's it," Yamoshi thought to himself. And with that, he just sighed because he could be imagining something. Yamoshi convinced that he had destroyed that being since he no longer felt the being's ki. Yamoshi turned and started walking while thinking about why his instincts were acting that way. After some time, all the fragments of that gelatinous being that were scattered around the place began to go towards Yamoshi. And when the Saiyan felt a bad sensation, he turned around and the fragments of that being came together into one and stuck to Yamoshi's face. When Yamoshi felt that gelatinous thing on his face, he started to choke, even more so when that thing started to enter his mouth. But Yamoshi wasn't going to let that happen so easily. Yamoshi concentrated his energy in his body and raised it, making that gelatinous thing begin to come away from the Saiyan. And to finish, Yamoshi concentrated his energy in his mouth and spat it out, destroying the gelatinous being that was in his mouth. And the rest of that gelatinous being ended up falling to the ground a few meters away from Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "What shit was that? I thought I destroyed you, you damn jelly, but it looks like you managed to trick me, you bastard," said Yamoshi, irritated as he wiped his mouth and threw some fragments that were on his face onto the floor that went towards that jelly. Being gelatinous said, "As always, you are very arrogant, Yamoshi, so much so that you judge me using my appearance and the amount of ki that was in my body as the basis of my power, forgetting that hiding ki and pretending to be weak is something very simple and easy for many beings. And for me, it is something very simple to pretend to be an arrogant and proud gelatinous being to make you lower your guard. And as I planned, you did it, so thank you very much for being arrogant, Mr. Yamoshi," said the gelatinous being while looking at Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "I didn't destroy you at that time, but I'm going to do it now," Yamoshi said, pointing his hand in the direction of the gelatinous being. But suddenly the energy that was inside that gelatinous being began to increase suddenly, and this made Yamoshi suddenly move away because of his Saiyan instincts and his great experience in combat. Yamoshi thought, why is his power increasing like that all of a sudden? And why did I instinctively retreat? This guy is not what he seems. He must be an individual with the ability to alter his own appearance or shape, and he used this to trick me and make me lower my expectations. This is what happens when we don't trust our instincts," Yamoshi thought, irritated for not having listened to his own instincts, which were always right. But unfortunately for the Saiyan, he ignored his instincts. The gelatinous being, after raising its energy, began to undergo a kind of transformation. His previously purple body turned white, and little by little he grew until he was the size of Yamoshi, and his gelatinous form ended up transforming into a solid form with a now humanoid appearance, and Yamoshi could see that that being was now very similar to him when he was younger. Yamoshi, looking at that being, ended up remembering someone he had a kind of deadly rivalry with in the past, and this made Yamoshi's eyes widen. Mysterious being spoke. "Have you finally remembered who I am, my old friend Yamoshi?" the being asked while looking at Yamoshi with a smile on her face. Yamoshi said, "I never thought I would see you again before, but apparently it really is you. You have the same aura, the same appearance, and the same damn smile on your face. The supreme god of Tuffle's King Daima," Yamoshi said now in a serious manner towards Tuffle, who smiled when he saw that Yamoshi remembered him. King Daima spoke. "It's good to be back, Yamoshi," King Daima said with a big evil smile on his face. In the 6th universe. Currently in the 6th universe, more precisely on a planet located on the margins of the 6th universe, it was possible to see Yamoshi, the first Super Saiyan god and a legend for his race, face to face with an old enemy and rival King Daima, the supreme god of Tuffles, a race that in the past was the Saiyans' #1 rival thanks to their special abilities. Yamoshi and King Daima were facing each other. King Daima, who was releasing a large amount of energy, ended up stopping and suppressing his energy, as he knew that if he continued to do that, he would attract the attention of the divine beings of the 6th universe, and King Daima did not want to enter in a fight against divine beings at the moment, and neither does Yamoshi. King Daima said, "Thank you very much for remembering me, Yamoshi. I was getting worried thinking that I was just another one of your enemies that you didn't remember facing in the past, but now I'm happy that you remembered me," King Daima said while looking at Yamoshi, who had a serious expression on his face. Yamoshi was ready for a fight against Tuffle if he tried to go after Yamoshi. Yamoshi said, "I really don't remember very well the insects that I crushed in the past, but I remember perfectly the enemies of my race who in the past tried to make us slaves, but that I ended up facing together with the elite Saiyans. And if I remember well, at that time we managed to destroy the Tuffles and a large part of your race ended up being eliminated. But you were always a problem that no matter how many times I defeated you, always came back to destroy my people and my life," said Yamoshi in a serious and not arrogant tone as always, as the being in front of him was very strong enough to make Yamoshi act cautiously so as not to be defeated. King Daima said, "I always thought that the people of your race would be great servants for my race, and my opinion still remains the same. But now Saiyans practically do not exist in our universe of origin, and as such it would be difficult to have them as my personal slaves. But the Saiyans in this universe we are in are still numerous, and from what I can feel there are still Tuffles in this universe, which for me is a very good thing. After all, I can reunite them and restore my old race both in this universe and in ours origin universe," King Daima said while looking at Yamoshi, who had to control himself from attacking the Tuffle at that moment. Something that King Daima noticed and smiled, as he had noticed that Yamoshi was remembering more things about his past. King Daima said, "Look, it was really difficult having to hide inside you after our last battle, but it was worth it since now I'm stronger and I don't exactly need a body to increase my powers. After all I did, it absorbed some of your Saiyan cells, and maybe I'll even be able to transform into a Super Saiyan, or whatever you call these transformations. I was supposed to leave your body some time after I was defeated, but unfortunately you were sealed and I was inside you, so I ended up going along, but thanks to you I broke free, and you don't know how hard it was for me to try manipulate you by being inside your body and your mind. I'm not the type to play mind games with others, but I was surprised by my capabilities, or you are simply very easy to be manipulated," King Daima said before starting to laugh at Yamoshi's face, who was confused about what he was saying. Yamoshi thought, "Now I can understand why since that battle I felt my body heavier. It's because King Daima was inside recovering and strengthening himself with my Saiyan cells. But what does he mean by manipulating me? King Daima never spoke to me mentally or tried to control me using mental powers, something that King Daima cannot do judging by the abilities I know he has. So why did he say all this?" Yamoshi asked himself mentally, while looking at King Daima, who knew that the Saiyan was confused just by his facial expression. King Daima spoke. Yamoshi, the great god of the Saiyans, and the one who fought countless times to protect his race from extinction. All this happened in the past before your sealing, but thousands of years later you are freed, and instead of wanting to help the remaining members of your race or try to rebuild it by having children with other humanoid races, you began to face the few members of your race under the pretext of seeing their power level, which is much higher than the power level of the ancient Saiyans of your time, and you eliminated Saiyans who had great potential even though they didn't belong to their universe of origin. Don't you find it strange that someone so protective of their own race in the past, now in the present, practically eliminated the few survivors of their own race? The Yamoshi of years ago would never do this. He would be more focused on rebuilding his race and not destroying it. But you are not that Yamoshi anymore, or maybe someone implanted these ideas in your head and you like a fool thought they were yours own desires and desires, King Daima said with a mocking tone while looking at Yamoshi, who widened his eyes when he heard that. Yamoshi thought, now that King Daima said it, why did I really want to face other Saiyans so much? I like to fight, and always have. but I never wanted to hurt other Saiyans, and I was always very angry when I saw a member of my race being injured or even being killed, and many times I ended up putting everything aside so I could avenge a companion who had been killed in battle and bring some peace to his family. So why would I want to destroy the rest of the members of my own race? I had a bad feeling this whole time about all of this because it was weird, so in reality, he was responsible for all of this from the beginning, Yamoshi thought, and this thought made the Saiyan grind his teeth with extreme anger at King Daima, who smiled when he saw that. King Daima said, "Look, I didn't want to do this, but for me to free myself from your body, I needed you to use a very large energy attack, and those eyes of yours were necessary to open a breach, and after you cleaned it, your body using your ki was enough for me to free myself from your body, and I was already tired of being trapped inside you. After all, I already have the cells of a Saiyan, and that's all I needed from you," said King Daima, shrugging his shoulders while looking at Yamoshi, who was looking at him coldly, which made King Daima take a step back out of pure instinct, and that cheered him up. After all, it had been a while since King Daima had seen that look in Yamoshi's eyes, and Yamoshi's killing intent was quite strong at that moment. Yamoshi said, "You manipulated me into destroying my own race by making me want to eliminate them because they are not like the old Saiyans I knew, but they are much stronger than the old Saiyans. And the funniest thing is that that guy Broly reminds me of my old wife. Maybe he's even a descendant of mine, and I almost killed him when I faced him," said Yamoshi while clenching his fists, and his aura began to rise, which made King Daima immediately raise his guard. King Daima said, "Your wife, right? I remembered now that she had a child with you, but I ended up eliminating her along with her village. But apparently I ended up failing to eliminate her descendants that time, but don't worry because this time I won't make the same mistake," King Daima said while raising his energy, as he knew that the battle between the two would begin soon. Yamoshi said, "That won't happen, because I'm going to end you, and this time I'll do it in such a way that you can never return from the world of the dead, you damned Tuffle." Yamoshi spoke with great hatred in his voice, which made his murderous intention increase on a large scale. Currently in the 6th universe, more precisely on a planet on the margins of the 6th universe, it was possible to see Yamoshi, the first Super Saiyan god, and King Daima, the supreme god of Tuffles, two warriors with great power in their hands. Yamoshi and King Daima were facing each other at that moment. Yamoshi, after discovering the real reason he wanted to face and even kill the Saiyans, Yamoshi had a serious and angry look at King Daima, who was staring at Yamoshi. The supreme god of Tufalis was staring at the Saiyan with a certain fear, while remembering the past and the times he saw that look from Yamoshi. And because of his old memories, King Daima was serious and prepared to start a new fight with Yamoshi. The first fight between the two after thousands of years. King Daima spoke, "Do you really want to start a battle, Yamoshi? You know that at the moment you and I are raising our energies, and for the other divine beings, we are their targets. And at this moment, we are looking like two big fires in the middle of the darkness, and it won't be long before one of them comes after us too. And if that really happens, we will be killed by those divine beings, even more so if it is a god of destruction. After all, we are strong, but we can both be permanently destroyed by the powers of destruction of the gods of destruction. And I have practically come back to life now, and I feel like losing my life so soon," said King Daima while facing Yamoshi, who was looking at King Daima in a deadly way. Even hearing his words, the Saiyan didn't stop raising his energy. Yamoshi spoke, "I don't care if some god of destruction appears here. If they appear and try to stop me from destroying you, then I will destroy the god of destruction and then you," said Yamoshi seriously while looking at Tuffle, who sighed, as he knew he wouldn't convince Yamoshi not to fight, because at that moment the Saiyan wasn't caring about anything other than his destruction. King Daima thought, "Apparently the only way for me to get out of here will be to fight against him, but this body of mine is still molding and has not yet reached its perfect state, and that is worrying. Thanks to the Saiyan cells mixed with several other cells from different races inside me, I know I can defeat him, but not at the moment, so I need to buy time for my body to readjust. But this can take time, and unfortunately I can't speed up the process. Not at this moment, and not in front of him, because I would be killed by Yamoshi if I tried to do that," King Daima thought as he looked seriously at Yamoshi and little by little tried to increase the speed at which his body was adjusting. King Daima said, "You really don't care about anything else, do you? Now seeing that look of yours, I can remember when you came after me to get revenge for me destroying all those who were important to you, and that day you were really very angry, and that look of yours is almost as deadly as the one I saw that day. But you're not as angry as you were that day. I just don't know if it's because you're just angry at the fact that I made you want to kill your own kind, or it's because you haven't gotten all your memories back yet." King Daima said, putting himself in a combat stance as he knew he would have to face Yamoshi at that moment. Yamoshi said, "You're only still talking because I'm getting used to my memories, because if it weren't for that, I would already be stepping on your chest and ripping your head off. But you're not coming at me either because your body is adapting. After all, it was sealed and was inside my body for many years, and as such, your body is adapting to everything, including my Saiyan cells that you managed to absorb, and I'm almost sure that your divine energy is adapting to your body again," Yamoshi said after quickly analyzing the situation and his memories about King Daima and how he acted in the past, and that ended up making Tuffle laugh a little. King Daima said, "Apparently you've already managed to remember me and how I acted in the past, and the speed at which you did this was impressive. After all, you were never the most intelligent Saiyan I've ever had the displeasure of meeting. You're right, my body is weak after being inside you for so long, but if I remember correctly, I can adapt quickly and it won't take long for me to attack you," King Daima said while smiling evilly at Yamoshi, who gave a sideways smile. Yamoshi said, "Your arrogance hasn't diminished one bit. On the contrary, it's even greater than the last time I saw you. But I want to remind you of one thing. We fought 7 times, and in none of our battles did I emerge as a loser. I almost died a few times, but I was still the one who always won, and this time will be no different. After all, you are not facing a mere Saiyan, you are facing the god of Saiyans," said Yamoshi, before raising his energy and transforming into Super Saiyan God, which surprised King Daima as he wasn't expecting Yamoshi to have already managed to stabilize his mind. King Daima thought, "What? Yamoshi shouldn't be able to fight right now. Not this fast. This bastard, he's repressing his own memories so they don't get in his way so he can eliminate me. I can't let this damn thing fight right now or I'll be killed by this guy's hands, but I know a way to make Yamoshi unable to fight me. And even though I'm weak at the moment, I can still use some of my skills," King Daima thought to himself, imagining what could happen at that moment if Yamoshi faced him. King Daima said, "I wasn't expecting to use this so soon, but apparently I will have to." "Heavenly restraint!" King Daima shouted, and Yamoshi didn't understand very well, but when he took the first step towards King Daima, several black chains appeared and trapped Yamoshi, preventing him from moving, and even Yamoshi's ki ended up being restricted by the black chains. Yamoshi said, "You bastard! My energies, my movements are being restricted. You are weak. So how did you manage to use a technique that can restrict divine power?" Yamoshi asked in an angry tone, as those chains were not only restricting him, but were also burning his skin, and that made him very angry. King Daima said, "Did you really think I didn't have some tricks up my sleeve that I could use when I'm weakened? You are someone powerful, Yamoshi, and that is something that I will never be able to deny. But you are at the same time a very stupid and ignorant man. Because unlike you, I not only have raw and destructive power, I have something called intelligence, and I am a great strategist. And for always thinking a few steps ahead of everyone, I developed several different techniques to use in different situations, and this is one of them. Celestial restraint is a technique that invokes these dark currents that came from another dimension, and these chains serve to contain divine beings and only divine ones. But don't think that you will be able to return to base form while you have some of these currents touching your skin. Until then, you will become weaker and weaker until you will inevitably end up dying. Unfortunately, I won't be able to keep the chains in this world for long, but it will be long enough for me to know what I will do to not be killed today," King Daima said with a big smile on his face. But he soon felt a divine energy approaching the planet. King Daima said, "Apparently they won't take long to arrive, so I better get out. Yamoshi, I hope you don't die by their hands, because I want to kill you myself, so don't die, god of Saiyans," King Daima said. And suddenly a type of portal appeared below him and he jumped and then disappeared from that place, and with that, the chains that held Yamoshi disappeared. Yamoshi said, "Damn, apparently now I'll have to face these guys, and I won't be able to go after that damn Tuffle," Yamoshi said, looking at the sky and seeing Champa, the god of destruction from the 6th universe, heading towards the planet along with some allies from the 6th universe. Currently, it was possible to see a small group of individuals floating above the atmosphere of that planet. The members of that small group were composed of Champa, the god of destruction of the 6th universe, Hit, the most lethal assassin of the 6th universe, and Frost, a false savior who after the end of the Tournament of Power ended up being revived by the Dragon Balls. Frost focused on becoming more powerful so as not to be humiliated again and was now at a very high power level, just like Hit, who had evolved a lot since that time. Frost said, "So So this is the planet that Vado said felt the energy of this Yamoshi guy, along with a second energy that initially seemed very weak, but was gradually getting bigger and was probably as big a threat as Yamoshi himself. Well, this planet is right on the edge of the 6th universe, so it makes sense that he came to this place to hide and regain his strength before doing something else, like wiping out another race or going after the god of destruction of 6th universe, Frost said while looking at the planet below him, and then ended up looking at his 2 companions and temporary team members. Champa thought, I only called this damned Frost to come along because he's stronger, and I need as many strong people as possible to help me deal with Yamoshi, because if it weren't for that, I would erase Frost's existence here and now before he has the opportunity to betray me and kill me, because I know that this bastard will do it if he gets the chance, because he knows that I don't trust him and that I will possibly end his life when this situation is resolved, and if I don't do it, I'm almost sure Hit will do it since he has a lot of clients who want Frost's head, and I'm almost on that list too. Thought Champa, the god of destruction of the 6th universe, while looking at Frost, making clear his disgust at having to need the help of a being as disgusting as Frost who knew very well that they didn't like him. Hit said, I have to say that I'm actually surprised by the fact that Yamoshi hid in a place like that, and you're talking that way, Frost, because I know you would do the same thing or even tried to do it in the past when was being pursued by the Galactic Police, because of all his crimes against different races, and don't think we don't know that in recent times you have been hiding very well while training to become more powerful, since you saw the power of that being called Frieza, who was very similar to you, and you saw his power and wanted an equivalent to his. And that's why you crawled into some hole like a cowardly rat and trained to become strong enough to face the Galactic Police, and you even destroyed one of the 3 planets where it was one of the main police bases, Hit said, while looking slightly at Frost, who didn't like being insulted like that by Hit. But he couldn't say he was wrong because he wasn't. Frost said, you bastard, you can say what you want, but I did what I did to be able to get stronger in a calm way and without the need to run away from those guys. And I confess that I ended up destroying that planet along with everyone who was there, so they could leave me in peace and see that my level of power was already thousands of times higher than their power, and if they were intelligent, they wouldn't come after me, but they are vengeful, so I had to end them all too. And in fact, I know that many, they must have put a price on my head, and I know you must have several contacts to end me, but if you try, I will show you that I'm not the same Frost from the past, Hit, Frost said while raising his aura, showing that it was much greater than during the Tournament of Power, and Hit did the same thing, showing that he was at the same level as Frost, or even stronger. Champa said, that's enough, you two! We didn't come here to fight each other. We came to defeat the Saiyan who defeated Cabba and killed Kefla and Kale while they were fused like Kefla. So stop acting like 2 children and act like the 2 adults you are, Champa said, attracting the attention of the 2 warriors who sighed and stopped raising their energy. Frost said, let's get it over with. I have my own things to do, and I don't feel like spending any more time around this guy, Frost said, looking at Champa and then Hit, who sighed and crossed his arms. Champa said, we won't need to go to Yamoshi because he's already coming to us, and apparently he doesn't feel like talking to anyone right now, so get ready, Champa said as they felt Yamoshi's divine energy starting to approach them, and soon all 3 were able to see a type of sphere of flame heading towards them. This sphere was Yamoshi, who was in his divine form. The trio, upon seeing Yamoshi approaching, began to increase their energy, generating an aura around their bodies. Frost was the first to make an attack, advancing towards Yamoshi, something that made Hit and Champa irritated by Frost's impatience, who could screw them over later. Yamoshi thought, there are 3 individuals, 2 of them mortals with a self-level of power, and the 3rd is the god of destruction of the 6th universe. I'm not in a position to stay in a fight for a long time, so I'm going to finish this fight as quickly as possible, and then I'll go back to the 7th universe and prepare to face King Daima, because he must be preparing and recovering to come behind me and all the Saiyans in this universe and in the 7th universe as well, as they possibly have the descendants of my former allies. Yamoshi thought as he flew towards his new opponents, and the first would be Frost, who was coming towards him. Frost, when approaching Yamoshi, tried to punch the Saiyan, who easily dodged Frost's blow, and then punched Frost in the stomach, who ended up spitting out some saliva upon receiving that blow. And before Frost could react, he ended up receiving a punch to the face, followed by a kick that threw him away. Yamoshi finished by firing a Ki sphere towards Frost, but Yamoshi's attack ended up being redirected to Hit, Hit, who appeared in front of Frost, defending him from that attack. Hit took a deep breath and then advanced towards Yamoshi using his time leap in the middle of the way, making everything around freeze, and when he was close to Yamoshi, he aimed a punch at the Saiyan's face. But suddenly Yamoshi broke the time leap of Hit and grabbed his fist, surprising the trio to see that the Saiyan knew about Hit's killer technique. Hit saw that his blow was defended. He performed a kick aiming at Yamoshi's face, who raised his arm in defense, and then the Saiyan caught Hit's leg and began to spin, throwing him away. And when he managed to recover, he had to use time leap to avoid receiving a punch from Yamoshi, who suddenly appeared in front of him. And even though Hit dodged it, he ended up receiving a cut on the side of his face, which made Hit take on a more serious and angry expression. Frost, who was far away, advanced towards Yamoshi, and Frost, together with Hit, began hand-to-hand combat against Yamoshi, who managed to defend himself from most of the two's blows, as both did not have good teamwork, so their blows had large gaps between the blows, and at the moment when the two opened a large gap, Yamoshi performed a key pulse, throwing them both away, and using his speed, he disappeared and reappeared behind Frost, landing a powerful kick that made Frost be thrown against a moon that was in the planet, and he did the same thing to Hit, who received a punch that threw him against the planet that Yamoshi was on a short time ago. Champa, seeing the situation, ended up advancing towards Yamoshi, but suddenly, Yamoshi began to shine brightly and disappeared shortly thereafter, dodging a blow from Champa's destruction that he had been carrying until that moment to finish Yamoshi with just that attack, which stops the bad luck for Champa. He wasn't effective since Yamoshi disappeared, and Champa was no longer able to feel his presence. Guys, the story is over here, but don't worry because there will be more new episodes and it all depends on you. So leave your like and subscribe so you don't miss any news about King Daima and Yamoshi. Anyway, I say goodbye here. Until next time, bye!